EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365. It's a victory Monday in Eagle land. They moved to 6-2 going into the bye week. They beat up on the New York Football Giants yesterday, 38-20. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, my friend?
Doing well. Yeah, big victory Monday going into a bye week. That's always good. You never want to lose going into a bye week and stew them in it for an extra group. So good to get the win over a New York Giants team. That is, we'll just call them the New York Giants. But Eagles handled their business, and that's always a good thing. Showed a lot of positive signs on the offensive side of the football, which made the defense look better. Complimentary football, man. Special teams. Will Shipley getting you field position. Complimentary football when it all comes together. That's what that was yesterday.
No doubt about it, John. They beat up on them. I know it's the lowly New York Giants, and I think they have returned back to planet Earth after their big Thursday night win. They might be even in the underworld now after that one. But it did. I do think the Eagles, it's one thing to win a game going into the bye week. I think that was a confidence-inspiring game. Even if you beat up on a lesser opponent, John, they got everything working. The run game was working. I think that's a positive going into the bye week for this team. They've obviously been talking a lot about that. So kind of everything clicked yesterday, John, and Jalen Hurts followed up his perfect passer rating last week with another strong, solid, efficient passing performance for him as well. So a lot of things clicking for the team, John, going into the bye week.
Yeah. I think this heavy package really worked for them yesterday with Fred Johnson as the honorary tight end on National Tight Ends Day. Pin and pull. They pulled out the pin and pull game to get some of those double teams that they haven't been able to get because of the heavy boxes they've been facing. So once the running game clicks, and it's funny because they've been so bad in the running game this year, which is completely confounding. And they show up one day in October and they run for 276 yards, which is the best number of any NFL team this season. And it just seems easy. Continues the narrative of a weird season for this team. But man, when they get it going, and I gave a lot of credit on our post-game show to Brett Toth. I thought he played a tremendous game, at least when you compare it to expectations. And maybe, having a healthy player in there versus a banged up player helped as well. But he did a good job. And, Landon Dickerson, that's the first time you saw Landon Dickerson look like a semblance of Landon Dickerson this year. That hole on the 65-yard touchdown, 17 seconds, that's what Saquon was getting last year. And we said, wow, look at these holes. That's the first time he got it. And then you saw his juice. He still got it. He was gone. But that was it's like they paved a new lane on I-95, man. That was that was luxurious to go through that hole. So, old school.
Yeah, he got that safety had no chance.
Yeah. Old school 2024, if you can call that old school Eagles football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. John, how about two running backs over the century mark, man? Saquon.
Yeah, how about Tank Bigsby? He's no longer a kickoff returner.
No, they moved Will Shipley to kick returner, and he's done well there. Not that he moved him there. He was there before, but he's now the prime guy at kick return. And Tank Bigsby looks like he could be the running back too here in Philly. So
he is. That page has been turned. He is. Now, he had some ball security issues in Jacksonville. So if that pops up, they'll revisit. But as long as he takes care of the football, he's got the kind of juice that A.J. Dillon certainly doesn't have. And
it's a good change of pace from Barkley, John. I mean, it's a small sample size so far, but it does look good in what we've seen. Obviously, 9 for 104. You can say that, but I do think just in general, the change of pace and the he looks like he's the right fit to kind of go with Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they had a really nice fit with Kenny last year. A little bit different because I think Kenny's, is better as a third down back. But I certainly think it's a better contrast than what was going on with AJ and Will when he was healthy. So yeah, that's a positive. A lot of positives. The pass rush showed up. Amazing. The pass rush showed up when you get to pin your ears back. Again, complimentary football.
Yeah.
Jalix Hunt had a big day when it came to pressures. So yeah, I mean that was nothing's ever perfect in the NFL, which Nick will tell you correctly. But that was a pretty impressive performance from all three phases.
Yeah, no doubt. They dominated in the game yesterday. 38-20 was your final, but it really felt to me more like a 38-13. Giants got that late touchdown from Jackson Dart rushing the ball. But other than that, they really beat up on them. Cam Scatterboo went down, obviously, also.
That's
was
devastating, by the way.
Yeah.
That was brutal looking into. I don't recommend people watch that.
No, and I'm just sending up my prayers for him today because I don't know what happened or how bad it was, John, but they did rush him into surgery last night in Philly.
Yeah.
So that typically means, I read somewhere that typically means he might have punctured, came out of the skin. I hope not, but I hope he's okay. That's a tough injury, and there is stuff down there, I think, where it could his career at risk maybe. So we'll see how Cam Scatterboo does. Hopefully he bounces back. John, one thing I got to mention here at the Open, and for anybody who watches Birds 365, they know that this is not what we do. John, the over legislation was showing.
I don't have a problem talking about the over legislation of the league.
Yeah, but sometimes it rears its head worse than other games. The officiating in the game yesterday was brutal. And by the way, on all sides, not just against or for the Eagles. It was on all sides of the ball, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was a poor effort. But, like I say, that's baked in. From my perspective, just the thought on blaming officials. And the team, let's be honest, the team that had more right to blame the officials yesterday was the Giants. But look, that's one of my biggest criticisms of Brian Daboll coming out of this game. Dude, you're not a fan. You got some bad breaks. Act like you've been there before. You've been a coach for a while. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And good teams tend to persevere through those things, and bad teams tend to fall apart. And I think you saw a bad team fall apart. And part of that is a mirror-like effect to the head coach. How you handle that kind of stuff is going to translate to the players as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, look, I never shy away. I say, I'll talk all day about the over legislation in this game. It is brutal. It is absolutely awful. What I don't talk about is officials, on-field officials, because half of the time, I think fans don't even realize they're not complaining about the on-field officials. They're complaining about the rule, the legislation. They don't like the rule, which is fine, but
some of it yesterday, though, was just
some of it yesterday was just poor performance.
By the way, though, our narrative, John, people used to use the narrative: the league is out to get the Eagles. The refs beat the Eagles. Guys, we're becoming the Chiefs. I don't know if anybody's ready to deal with that, but we're becoming the Chiefs. Everybody saying to us, the officials are helping the Eagles, because that's what it looked like yesterday.
Well, I don't go that far either. Well, what I will say, and I've said pretty consistently, they're not helping, but if you're a good team, you tend to get the benefit of the doubt. Right. That's how it works. It's always worked that way. It always will work that way. And they're a good team. So they're starting to get the benefit of the doubt a lot. Again, no different. Always that way. If the governor's listening, Josh, it's always that way. Now the Eagles are getting that advantage. And that's earned almost. I don't agree with it. I always go to the NBA. Like, you shouldn't give, hey, Michael Jordan, let's give him the bet. You shouldn't do that, but people do. And that's just the reality of the situation.
No doubt. Johnny McMullen, another big performance for Jalen Hurts yesterday, man. It was lesser in the air, but it's because obviously they ran the ball for 276 yards. But he went 15 to 20, 179, 4 touchdowns, and a 141 rating, John. Jalen Hurts playing very efficient football right now, his second week in a row of just answering the calls and doing what he has to do at that position, protecting the football. 4 touchdown passes yesterday. How about 2 tutties for Dallas Goedert on tight end day? Big performance from Jalen Hurts once again, and credit to Dotson, Goddard. Barkley had a catch or a touchdown through the air. So another good performance, John, from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, very efficient. Obviously, they didn't have to throw it much, only 20 pass attempts. Devontae stepped up into that wide receiver 1 role, was always open, seemed like he was always open all day whenever they needed it. Dallas leads the NFL in touchdown receptions. How about that? 7, career high 7 already. John Dotson, not a lot of volume, but comes up with a big catch. Yeah, I mean, that's how the Eagles want to play. Run the football down people's throat and be efficient in the passing game. And again, that's sort of Philadelphia Eagles football. That's how they want to look, how they looked against the New York Giants. Now it is the New York Giants. Let's all put that into perspective. So I know we're going to get a lot of, do they even need A.J. Brown and all that kind of stuff? Well, probably not against the New York Giants. And,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think they're going to need A.J. Brown down the road. So I would temper those thoughts pretty quickly that they're better without A.J. Brown. People forget quickly against better teams when they haven't had him, how it's looked. So I would be careful with that. But yesterday, look, you can only play who's in front of you, and the Eagles played who was in front of them, and they dominated the football game.
Yep, no doubt about it. Good stuff there. John, defensively, what did you see yesterday, man? I mean, I think that Giants team they're starting to look like themselves again. Sometimes, I mean, it was a fun little spurt of energy they got when they put Jackson Dart in there, but they just don't have the talent right now. But what do you think of the defense, John? You mentioned the pass rush showed up. The interior of that D-line looked great as well. The 3 guys in the middle of Jomo, Carter, and Davis. What did you see from that defense yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, pass rush shows up, and again, that's a lot of that is situational, making them one-dimensional, making them predictable. The New York Giants were very predictable when they got behind by a large number, and then you can pin your ears back and you see a lot of success. So, look, if you could play that way, it's going to look good. And they were able to play that way. Also, very limited, the Giants, from a receiver standpoint. So, what I found the most interesting is the playing time between Nakobe Dean and Jahad Campbell, which heavily slanted towards Nakobe Dean, but that's because they kept the Giants in base looks, because the Giants also don't have a ton of receivers, as I mentioned. So that'll change, but that's an interesting, tough to call it a problem because you're talking about 2 good players, but boy, when you see the next day and Jahad Campbell only plays 21 snaps, you go, really?
See, I don't. I mean, how do you view that? I don't really view it as an indictment on Jahad. I just think Nakobe Dean's a better player right now. I mean, he's a 4. He's been
he's better. He's better at certain things, and I think Jahad's better. So you saw Nakobe get caught on that one wheel route.
Yeah.
I think Jahad's a better athlete, so I think he's better in space. Nakobe, though, is certainly better as a run defender, certainly better when it comes to understanding the game, football IQ, not, saying he's a smarter player. He's just got more experience.
Yeah, right.
He is a very
He's
smart
in year
player.
4. I mean, Jahad's a rookie, yeah.
And obviously Vic trusts him. That's obvious. So good problem to have, but it is interesting because I think Jahad Campbell has played really, really well. Along, even with those rookie hiccups. I think it was you look at PFF, I think it was the top ranked rookie in the NFL.
Yeah. Or up there.
Defensive player.
Up there, yeah.
I think he was number one. So interesting. And obviously he's not ready to help that much on the edge. And after the bye, if you have Nolan Smith back, which they're hoping to get back, if you have Brandon Graham out there, which is he's going to be out there, there's even less need for him to play on the edge. So that's going to be interesting moving forward. But the results yesterday were the results. Nakobe looked great again, except for that one play, and it worked. So tough to criticize.
Yeah, no doubt. Nakobe's just great in run defense, man. He explodes through the gap. He really is good at.
Plus, I mentioned that it also enables Zach Bond to be more of a more freedom, more of a, I don't want to say freelancing because that's not the right word, but you can do a lot more things with Zach Bond when Nakobe's out there holding down the fort, so to speak.
Yeah, and that Zach Bond made the hit on Cam Scatterbo, who had who obviously got injured, is out for the season now on that play. That was a Zach Bond hit, John. I hate to go there, but that's why I don't know. What do you think of the hip drop tackle? That looked like a hip drop tackle to me. Now I've always been of the opinion, isn't that how you tackle in football? But I guess they're trying to legislate that out of the game too.
Yeah, and
looked like one to me.
It's difficult. I'll say this. I had never heard the term hip drop tackle until they said the term hip drop tackle.
Yeah, right. A couple years ago, whenever the heck it was.
Never heard it. Been covering the game for 30 years almost. Never heard it until they dubbed it what they dubbed it. Yeah, I mean, if you get caught and people drag you down, obviously you're susceptible for those types of injuries. Yeah. But I don't know how you remove it other than this mentality, which I don't agree with, that if you find players, it'll sort of teach them to tackle, or they're just trying to get the guy down.
I mean, how do you tell you got Cam Scatterbo? This kid's like a little tank.
Yeah, I know.
You tackle him without lowering your body.
That's my point. In the second, you can tell this is made by people who don't play the game. In a second, in a millisecond, you're just trying to get the freaking guy down. And some of these guys are just, as you mentioned, in this case, you have a tank. Sometimes it's, Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs or these unbelievable athletes, and you're just trying to get them on the ground. And you're saying, oh, but dude, it's like, come on. But it is what it is.
Yeah, people are saying it wasn't a hip drop. That's fine. I'm just saying off first view. I didn't go back and rewatch that play very much.
I rewatched it.
Yeah, that play. I hate seeing injuries in football, man. I really hate watching them. So, I didn't.
I know Zach Bond's not a dirty player. If that's what
no, he's not a dirty player at all. Yeah, no, man. Zach Bond's a good guy. You can tell he's a good guy. So there's no way he had bad intent there. I just brought it up because that's what it looked like for me at first glance. We're going to get Jeff Kerr in today. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here. It is a Victory Monday for all of Eagles Nation. All right, peace is restored in the NFC East. The Giants are riding a little high there for a couple weeks.
Yeah, Cowboys laid an egg in Denver. Oh, everything coming up. Eagles, Commanders will probably lose tonight. And the Giants are the Giants.
What did you think of that Packer game last night?
Yeah, Packers are a problem.
Micah Parsons is unbelievable.
He's pretty good.
He's
pretty good.
He is unbelievable. Watching him play is remarkable. I mean, he is a problem on every single snap. Every snap. It's amazing.
Which is why I couldn't believe some of the narratives. I'm like, all right, these are people who aren't watching Micah Parsons, but it wasn't even Micah yet. I mean, he's phenomenal, but Jordan Love got hot in the second half, and when that guy gets hot, they might be the best thing. And Tucker Kraft, my God, nobody can tackle this guy.
He's amazing, man. He really plays. I like the way he plays the position. Obviously,
they're a good team. Now, like every team, they have holes. I'm not in love with their secondary. And they didn't look great the entire game. They were behind for a large portion of the game, and then they just turned it on. But when they're clicking, they're scary. And that's why I say after the bye, that game at Green Bay, and then you have Detroit here, that's going to tell you a lot about the top of the NFC. They're all playoff teams, obviously. And you're probably going to have to face one of them again somewhere down the road at the bare minimum, maybe both.
You're going to face one of these teams again. We played the Bucs, we played the Rams, we got the Packers, we got the one of them we're going to see again. There's no doubt.
So those two games are going to tell you a lot. But they're a really good team, the Packers.
Yeah. Now they look good last night. I just think Jordan Love is too streaky sometimes for me. I mean, sometimes he looks like you mentioned in that second half last night, and then other times I'm just like, oh gosh, he doesn't look good. But that's kind of, I guess,
isn't that every quarterback?
It is. It really is. Look at Dak Prescott yesterday. I was calling him the best quarterback in football through 7 weeks. I mean, John, this is what I always laugh at too, though. And I guess this is just the nature of being on the screen and airing your opinions consistently. Someone's like, Zander, you were wrong on Dak. I'm like, was I? Wasn't he the best quarterback through first 7 weeks? I mean, he was up there. Now,
I mean, you have to get
the narrative has changed. I was wrong. I just think he shit the bed, and now we got to talk about that.
If you, it's amazing. It's one of the things. I mean, if you're around for a long time, you'll see people bringing up something you said from 3 years ago and saying, "Oh, you were," I mean. Everything evolves minute by minute, game by game. Look at what Josh Allen did yesterday, the reigning MVP of the NFL. And I think people will look, well, Buffalo won 40-9. Well, Cook had like 200 and something yards rushing. I'm looking at what Josh Allen was 12 of 19, 163 yards. And that's an improvement. He was early in the game when I looked at it. He was not playing well. And Cook was just going nuts. So you've seen it with Jalen Hurts. We go from the wild swing. Now Jalen's in the MVP conversation. 4 weeks ago, it was like, what's wrong with this guy? Now he's MVP conversation. Things swing wildly in this league. So Jordan Love's not any different than anybody else. But when you see when he's really cooking like he was in the second half last night, what was I got to look him up now? I mean, he had a big game.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is in the MVP conversation? I think he might be, John. I mean, that's part of the testament to the team success, but also his personal success.
Team
in the football. I mean, a lot of the 7 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks, and he doesn't turn the ball over, man. So now he's got, these crazy numbers, 15 tutties, not 1 interception.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're the quarterback of the best team and your passer ratings like 115, you're in the MVP conversation. And they have one of the best records in football. And as you mentioned, he's in the MVP conversation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that much, except for the people that like and covet personal awards, but he's definitely in the conversation. But, there's going to be a game where it doesn't look good. It's the way it is.
Yeah, it's football, man. Not everybody's going to play great every week. There's no doubt about it. Good stuff there. John, is the running game back?
Well, you could see they could do it, and so that's a positive. But again, I look at the opponent and say, not necessarily. But I do think at its height, you can see what they do, because there's very few teams in this league that can run for 276 yards, as proof by nobody did it until yesterday during this season. So, very positive, but I'm not going to say it's going to translate to other teams, because other teams are going to do things differently and force different things. And the Giants seem to be comfortable getting beaten up on. It's funny, I'm very cognizant when the leaves fall as a homeowner now. And I've always compared the NFL season to the leaves falling. There's at some point when shitty teams realize they're shitty. I've had this talk with Jody over the years, and that's when you want to play them, because they're going to give up if they don't play well early. And I think this was the week. If you look around the league, the Giants are an example of this. The Browns are an example of this. The Saints, the Fighting Kellen Moores are an example, and the Titans specifically. Those 4 teams just gave up. They said, "You know what? It's not going our way. We're packing it in." The leaves fell in those particular cities for those teams.
No doubt. John, we just talked about how much it can change on quarterbacks too. Go look at the running back though, man. I mean, Saquon Barkley, we were talking about the yards per carry. He's already up to 4.1 now on the season after one game. Now, that's still not the greatest number, but he's up out of the threes. He's got 519 yards on the season. So look out. A couple more games like that for Saquon Barkley. He will be way past the century mark. So we'll see what he does in the coming weeks. Eagles going into the bye week, everybody, 6-2. They beat the Giants yesterday, 38-20. Beat up on them pretty good. All right, let's go to our main man, Jeff Kerr, who's set to join us right here. We've got a super chat. Look at this. Appreciate y'all bringing Kerr on every week. I don't know he's agreed, but I always enjoy his segments. Best show on YouTube. Look at that, Jeff Kerr.
Yeah, Jeff Kerr getting some love. There we go. That's gonna boost his ego early on Monday morning.
Right now, Jeff Kerr joins us here on Birds 365. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS and read all his work at cbssports.com. Jeff, welcome to the program, my friend. How you doing this Monday morning?
Good. By the way, I'm glad not everybody agrees with me. That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, you don't want everyone to agree with you, Jeff.
Yeah, no. Then you're just kowtowing to the fan base. So can't do that. Jeff doesn't do that. So credit to him for that. Credit to that commenter, because Jeff's very good, and we're glad to have him every Monday morning, most Monday mornings. And today is a Victory Monday, Jeff. Now, where you stand in the fact of sort of this is gauging where the Eagles are versus, as I described, the leaves are falling for the Giants. They figured out that they're a bad football team.
I agree with you, John. When I hopped in, I saw you were talking. You guys were talking about the Giants, the Titans, the Raiders. I forget if you mentioned the Raiders in there. I think they're a bad football team.
Yeah, the Raiders. Yeah, you can throw them in there. This is the time of year when they figured out. So if they don't play well early in the game, you see those kinds of teams just kind of check out. Happens every year.
It really felt like the tide turned for the Giants. Dare I mention the tush push fumble? It did feel like whenever that controversy happened, Dable was losing his mind on the sidelines.
You can't do that, Jeff.
Yeah,
he got screwed. Look, I get the frustration. You can't do that as a head coach. Can't do it.
Yeah, and I think that affected how the team played because, we say it all the time. I get why players show emotion. I do, but we always tell them to hold it in. If you're a coach, you really got to hold it in because that just affects your entire football team. And they went how their coach went that day, and Eagles just beat them physically after that.
Yeah. I agree with you. If you go back to the game in MetLife, where he was trying to get in the injury tent when Dart was in there for concussion, it's like, what is this guy doing? And they ended up getting fined. Well, I think the team got fined $200,000. He got fined $100,000, I think, and somebody else got fined. I think Scatterboo, because he tried to get in there as well. I mean, I hate calling for people's jobs because I don't want anybody to lose their job, but this is a zero-sum business. You got to produce. This guy's not a head coach.
Yeah, and you had your built-in excuse already this season. Well, I never had my quarterback. Well, now you do have your quarterback, and you're still losing.
Well, now they're without Scatterboo. They were without Malik Neighbors. I mean, let's be real. That's not the best roster, even with a great quarterback.
It's just off-field stuff. Well, it's on-field, off-field stuff is where I'm getting.
I think do you guys buy this? I think yesterday he threw that challenge flag after he knew there was no chance. It was not even worth challenging because I think he was just trying to bring more attention to that bad call in the tush push.
Oh, he was. And it worked for a lot of people. Like our national insider, Jonathan Jones, who's really good, by the way. He wrote a story on the tush push saying, hey, look, he goes, he's never been pro or against it, but he wrote the way Dable acted and the way the Giants acted and how the officials just couldn't handle a fumble, it's going to get banned because of that. The league will use that.
Gotta go. It's gotta go. It's gotta go.
Yeah.
It's gotta go.
I mean, that's not why the Giants got destroyed yesterday.
No. But they can't officiate it. It's gotta go. And they can't officiate it.
Yeah,
it's not the Eagles' fault. And by the way, until it goes, the Eagles should use it 1,000,000 times if they need it. Yep. But it's got to go. That's my take on it. Not the Eagles' fault. They should continue to use it. But, objectively, you can't let a team push and push and push and push and then let them go 3 times or 4 times and finally get the person. And then when they push and Jalen Hurts tries to reach out the ball and they fumble and all of a sudden you go, we stopped it. Come on. I mean,
I always laughed about this, and I think it was John Clark I said it to yesterday. It's always funny, the forward progress rule, right? If they're on the 1-yard line, Jalen does that play's ruled dead. It's a touchdown, right? Because the ball crossed the plane, whatever, but the ball doesn't cross the, whatever forward progress when you get the first down. They'll rule the that's where football gets so confusing to me, and they can make it so much simpler.
Over legislation, ludicrous. Back in the old days, they used to just stop. Forward progress, you stop, they blew the whistle.
Yeah. And they blew it a lot.
That was a really bad call, though. Like, Jalen was still actively moving forward. It wasn't like he came to a stop. He was body was moving, and then he started to move the ball. That was a bad call.
Yeah, Brad Holmes' crew had back-to-back banned non-calls. It was before that, Jalen might have gotten the first down on the play he was hit. You could say he was hit late, and then on the next play is the tush push, and I was like, oh, Jalen fumbled that ball. The Eagles fumbled.
By the way, can we stop? Can people understand when quarterbacks, and this goes from Jalen Hurts to Patrick Mahomes to everybody else, when they run the football, they become runners. So when they're down the field, pretend it's a running back. The running backs get those calls? Fuck no. Why do quarterbacks get those calls?
Oh, you know why, John.
I do know why. And that's, again, the over legislation. And that's why it's confused. And fans are confused because they think quarterbacks get extra protection than regular players in that
and they use like 1 or 2 plays from Patrick Mahomes over the last couple of years to prove their point. I said, you guys do know that does that. Like, Daniel Jones got hit late yesterday.
Did you guys think that spot was correct? On the before the tush push?
I gotta watch. I don't know about the spot. It was not.
I didn't. Yeah,
it was
I don't know. I admittedly I don't know, but somebody in the chat is telling me, it should have been a first down, but it looked like when Jalen stepped out, the ball was a little bit back, and when the ball went,
it's where the ball is when he steps out.
What I thought it's where the ball is, and it did look like it was a little short of the first, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
I mean, let's just put it this way. When I tweeted about yesterday, I rewatched the play, and I agree with a lot of people say, I'm like, you know what? After a second look, this is why I always say officials have really tough jobs, because I thought it was, but I could see why they would rule against it. Let's just put it that way.
Jeff, what'd you make of Jalen Hurts, man? Another game where he just looked efficient and damn good with the football. 15-20 yesterday, 141 rating, 4 touchdown passes for Jalen Hurts. That's 7 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks for Jalen Hurts, and he's got
MVP, baby. MVP.
He's got over 500 yards in the last 2 games, throwing the ball as well with extreme efficiency. What'd you make QB1 yesterday, Jeff?
I mean, there's going to be some MVP talk, and rightfully so. He's got the most touchdowns in the league since week 3. What's the total now? 15 touchdowns to 1 interception this year, I believe.
15-1,
yeah. 20-2 in terms of touchdowns to giveaways. Look, Jalen's playing out of his mind right now. He has a 155 passer rating over the last 2 weeks. Like you said, Zander, very efficient. He's just not killing this football team. And I talked to Jahan Dotson after the game, and I don't think he was blindsided that I asked him about Jalen Hurts because everybody was talking about the running game, but he said what he felt. He goes, and I said, look, you see him in practice all the time. You're getting all of this. And he said, look, this is how he is in practice. And it's showing up on Sundays. And he said, we feel he's the best quarterback in football, and we're going to prove that. And, good for that team for backing their guy, because I wish someone else would back their guy right now.
Who are we talking about, Chef Kerr?
Yeah, I think we know. But
are the Philadelphia Eagles a better football team without A.J. Brown, as some people are speculating?
No. And you beat the New York Giants without him. I don't want to hear that bullshit. But, Jeff, I do want to hear your take on A.J. Brown. So, it sounds like you have some thoughts on it. Enlighten me. Come on, hit me with them.
I just wish he would publicly defend Jalen every once in a while. He doesn't.
Well, he's actually going now the opposite of that, Jeff. It's one thing to just not say anything.
The Instagram detectives have told me he deleted Jalen Hurts.
He's got tweets from 2020, 2022, where he's giving Jalen credit in tweets. And people, I guess, go back and they find these tweets and they started retweeting it again. And
where do people have time to do this?
I know. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. The thing that bothers me is AJ knows people are looking at his social media right now. He's made waves and headlines 3 weeks straight from social media posting. He knows it's the center of attention. Jalen comes off a perfect passer rating game. Everybody's talking about, Jalen Hurts this week, and then he's got to go and do that. I'm just like, dude, are you jealous of Jalen Hurts? Like, what's the deal?
I really like AJ too. I do. But I always go back to quotes I've learned when I was young. And one of them is, you know what, no matter what, some people are just never happy. Maybe that's him.
Might be, man. Might be.
Yeah, maybe. That's fair.
And that's not a bad thing. It's not a reflection.
Well, I think it's part of the reason he's the player he is, because he's never satisfied.
Yeah, which is right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Completely. I mean, greatness, that's how people who achieve greatness are. So I understand that perspective, but you're in a team game. Like I understand your individual accolades matter, and I'm not one that doesn't want you to care about them, but you have to be a part. You have to be good for the team. It's a team game. If you want to be a boxer, go ahead. It's all on you, bro. You get the credit, you get the blame. It's football. You can't take away from the team. I think he's starting to do that, unfortunately.
And this team needs him to win this championship.
I know
they do. If they want to win the Super Bowl, they need AJ Brown.
I agree.
And I don't think they're trading AJ Brown. I think that's ludicrous too. They're not better off without him. I wrote that in my overreaction. Look, just because they look great yesterday doesn't mean that's going to happen. You need AJ Brown to beat the Green Bay Packers in 2 weeks. You need him to beat the Detroit Lions in 3 weeks. And that's the reality. And I hope whatever is going on with AJ, he can fix himself, whatever it is. But I agree with you, Zander. I just think he should take his own advice sometimes and listen to other people in this. Like, people have told him, dude, like, just stop going on your phone, stop admitting you're on your phone, that type of thing. It's
years ago, John came on this show and said, I'm an AJ Brown guy, but I wish he would stay off social media. John's been saying that on this show for 3 years.
I mean, he could be trolling people for all we know. We just don't know.
He definitely trolls people sometimes, but
which to me is annoying, because look, I live in a world where you got to be factual all the time, and look, I do the cryptic tweets too when I'm breaking news because I don't want to piss people off, but it's just one of those. Come on, dude! Like, people are gullible. You do.
Yeah, I just know people. Look, if he's trolling, that's fine. But he does know that people are going to go where they're going to go with it. And that's why I don't like it. It's like, all right, you can troll, but you know that it's going to take away from your quarterback. I mean, last week, this is what pissed me off about it. Jalen Hurts is a perfect game. Everybody's giving him credit in the media. Everybody's talking about how great Jalen was. And then AJ's got to make this post. Brandon Graham comes back. All the headlines are positive in Eagle Land. Oh, let me make a cryptic post. So now everybody talks about me all week. Now the owner is answering at the team meetings for, what do you think about A.J. Brown? It's like, bro, do you really need all the attention all the time, A.J.? Sit down, put the fuck up. You're going to get your yards. You're going to get your catches. Come on, man. Be a part of the team.
I thought Lori's comments on that were very telling, by the way.
Me too. Me too.
Which is he's not going anywhere, by the way. Also, part of those comments. But
I tweeted this a couple weeks ago, Zander. You might have retweeted it too. I said, when's the last time, if ever, which we all knew the answer, Howie Roseman trades a top 10 player at any position midseason, or just he gets players like that. He doesn't get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean that's what bad teams do. So I don't think they're actually going
I
to
feel
do
like
it.
if Howie Roseman was the Eagles GM during the McNabb T.O. saga, he would have told T.O., look, I'll get you your contract, but dude, like, keep your mouth shut.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's easy to say that, but I mean, superstar. It's not like just Philadelphia. I mean, superstar players are superstar players, and sometimes you have to live with them, giving their opinions, and that's part of
Micah
it.
Parsons gave his opinion
You know,
every day in Dallas.
I thought that was another part of Jeffrey's comments when he was talking about Nick Sirianni and his ability to connect the dots and be a connective force, whatever he used. Just connects with people. That's a big part of it. Big part of it. Difference between Larry Brown and covering the NBA and Phil Jackson. Larry Brown's a better basketball coach. Bill Jackson could manage people. Like everybody in that if you want to draw up a play at the end of the game, Larry Brown. If you want to manage people, Phil Jackson.
There was I used to read a lot of books about Phil Jackson, and it wasn't what he was doing on the court. It was, to back your point, John, the Bulls had the game on a Monday and had a game on a Thursday. It was what he did Tuesday and Wednesday while they won.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of it. I would argue a bigger part of it than the X's and O's at times. But X's and O's are a big part of it as well. And all of a sudden, KP is a genius now, evidently, in some people's minds. I want to give credit to two people specifically because they never get credit. And I did yesterday, and I'm going to add. Eagles ran for 276 yards. That's the best rushing performance of the season in the NFL, Jeff Kerr. Every single team, that tells you the Eagles that the ceiling of their running game and makes it more head scratching to why they couldn't run the football at all for basically 7 weeks. And all of a sudden, here comes Brett Toth, and everybody thinks, oh my God, what a catastrophe. And then Big Bread, man. This jumbo formation, he was the honorary, Dallas Goedert called him the honorary tight end for the day, 13 personnel. 12 of the Eagles' 33 rushes were with Fred Johnson on the field. They had 129 yards.
And John, I thought they found out something last week with Fred Johnson, and a couple players on that team hinted to me on Wednesday. You're probably going to see more of that. And Milata explained it yesterday. Why? Because when you got guys just lining up 6 in the box to stop Saquon, you bring Fred in there, that evens the playing field a bit. And
I love, because I asked Nick that during the week. I love when I catch Nick. He was like, oh, shit. Because Jordan Mailata let me in on the 6-man fronts, and they couldn't get double team blocks. They couldn't get one-on-ones. They were getting all one-on-ones. And that makes it so much more difficult. And I brought it up to Nick in one of the press conferences, and he was like, I don't want to get into the scheme. But and they rolled that thing out. I love when I get it right. And they rolled that thing out. And man, it worked. That jumbo package worked like a charm. And Brett deserves credit as well. And all of a sudden you see these pins and pulls, which you weren't able to do if it's one-on-one. It's got to be one. You can't do that as much. And boy, that first hole, man, I said that was like they paved a new lane on I-95, Jeff. That thing was huge. And Saquon just is gone. For those who think he lost something, he didn't lose anything.
No, you and I have been saying that all year. We didn't think he lost anything. But when you put a massive human being on already a line that's massive, you're going to get good results. And the Giants were the more physical team the first game. Anybody could have told you that. The Eagles wanted to match that and more. Yeah, they did that Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Jeff, is Saquon Barkley in the running game back in Philly? I don't think they ever left physically, but they obviously struggled to get it going a little bit there in the first 7 weeks. They have a massive performance yesterday. You feeling like they found something yesterday, Jeff, that will return? Because we've talked about them needing to get that going all year long.
I think they did, and I think the Green Bay Packers better watch on tape what the Eagles just did last week, because By the way, Saquon Barkley's 10th in the league in rushing yards.
Yeah, just like that. I said that. Yeah. Just like that. One game.
That was like last week with Devontae. Devontae after last week moved up to number 6, I believe.
He's still 6, yeah.
Yeah. So, off one game. Yeah, be very careful with stuff like that. But look, if they get back to a semblance, you can't run for 276 every week, obviously. But if they get back to having a semblance of a running game, they become just difficult to stop. They just do.
You know, John, it's funny. We say they can't run for 276, but they can run for 186 because that's about what they average.
Oh, yeah. And, in some ways, maybe he's not a better player. I don't, similar to A.J. Brown, and they did play the New York Giants. Brett Toth is not a better player than Cam Jurgens, but Cam's not 100%. And maybe having a player who is 100%. And you saw those pin and pulls, and Brett Toth got outside a number of times, getting big blocks. On the 28-yard run that ended Saquon's day because he tweaked his groin. By the way, he said he's fine. I should have mentioned that earlier in the show. Brett Toth was out there for that one as well. He did a really good job.
Saquon's story. When he was telling all of us he was fine, I kind of got him after I said, by the way, I knew you were fine. You came out of the medical tent. You were jumping when Tank Bigsby had his big run. I'm like, yeah, players don't do that when they have a groin injury.
Yeah. Well, he had a groin injury, but he'll be back for Green Bay.
Well, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, even if you tweak it, you're not jumping up in excitement.
Yeah. And Big Tank Bigsby, the kick returner, all of a sudden is now the backup running back. Everything came up aces for the Eagles yesterday. So, it's bye week and everybody's at a high point. Do you have to temper that because of the opponent? Because look who's coming up after the bye, Jeff Kerr.
Yep. On Monday night, too.
Yeah. See that team last night in the second half? Woo!
This is why I don't think the Eagles have. I think Green Bay buys in their own hype a bit, but it's well deserved because they looked tremendous in the second half last night.
By the way, I'm going to give Jeff Kerr a Soapy's choice. All right? I mean, you got to pick one. Can't pick both. Who is the best current NFL player from Penn State University?
Ooh.
Saquon Barkley or Micah Parsons?
Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. He's correct, by the way. Jeff's correct. I'm sorry.
I'm happy you went with that answer. As much as I want to say Saquon. We were just talking about Micah. Watching him, Jeff, he's a problem every single snap. And they were lining him up in these different looks last night, a little bit off ball, a little bit behind the line. He was just wrecking them last night.
That's why I make fun of the Cowboys this year as much as I do.
What a horrible decision.
Yeah. I'm getting tired of hearing about Super Bowl talk and playoff talk. I'm like, no, you gave that all up when you traded that guy to Green Bay.
What a horrible decision. And then you bring up the contract. Well, we can get this player, and we have this. Shut up. You get a player like that, you keep him in the building.
And you have the audacity to make your own news and say, oh, we call the Raiders about Max Crosby, and we call the Bengals about Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. No, you know what? Shut up. Your quarterback is still a fraud, by the way. Good quarterback. Still a fraud.
There we go. There's the
I
called that this whole week. They're going to get destroyed by Denver. I called it.
Well, Denver's got a really good defense, at least, in modern NFL, really good defense. And, when they play well, it's Bo Nix having a good game, which is up and down from week to week generally.
They ran the ball really well yesterday. But
Dobbins had a decent game. But that's why they're so uneven, because sometimes that offense just goes to sleep, Denver. But their defense is very good.
And Surtain got hurt yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah. He left
long term?
I don't know if it's long term. Peyton seemed a little optimistic after the game, but
because that would be a big loss.
Too bad when he went down. I saw him go down. He was holding on to something, but it didn't look like it was like
it might have been a groin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either a groin or a hamstring, but That AFC West is going to be fun.
Yeah, I should add the Vikings to those teams with falling to the leaves on Thursday night because they just fell apart against.
I felt so bad for Carson Wentz on Thursday night. You're just letting that guy just getting eaten by.
I know. Kevin O'Connell's a fraud, by the way. Talk about frauds. You got to protect player. They got to protect JJ McCarthy and let Carson Wentz be a crash test dummy between two backup tackles and. Yeah.
JJ McCarthy is not a good quarterback, and one of the reasons why I said that because I don't. And again, I'll bring up a Penn State connection here. As much as he didn't have to throw the ball,
I didn't throw him in the conversation of best Penn State players. Yeah,
he is not. That's why the Colts got rid of him.
He got $88 million. That's all that matters.
That's because average offensive guards get paid.
Yeah, now they do.
You might not want to watch Penn State this weekend, Jeff.
The next 2 weeks.
Oh, they'll be fine. They took a week off to get ready for Ohio State. They'll be fine.
They're going to get their ass handed.
It's brutal. Who's having it worse right now, Penn State or LSU?
Well,
LSU made a good move. It might be short-term pain, but that
is a good move.
Clown. That dude is a clown.
I'll say this: Penn State still has a bunch of talented players. But it's similar to what I said about the NFL. If they get down 14 points in that game, it's over. Then people will check out. But if they play hard, Ohio State, last year they lost to Michigan with a walk-on quarterback. There's going to be a game where even Ohio State looks like shit.
There's enough players on that team. I can say this.
By the way, who's our Mizzou band, Zander?
Vulnerable Vitality.
Bandy, baby. That's my adopted college.
Bo Verbula got hurt, and Springford's own Matt Zollers came in on Saturday. That was the only game I watched. Bandy, Mizzou.
John, you like this Pavia kid? You like that?
I love him. Love him. Only because I saw the Netflix documentary on the SEC. I think it's a great story. Now, Vanderbilt was this shit program.
Yeah,
and now they're a top 10 program in the country.
Football. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Vanderbilt's going to make the playoff.
I love the story of that program. I love Clark Lee. I love the quarterback. I think it's awesome. They're competitive against everybody, including Alabama. It's unbelievable.
If you're Lane Kiffin, and this is just me, if I'm Lane Kiffin for the day, coaching Ole Miss, doing my thing, Florida and LSU calls me up because they're that desperate, I'd laugh in their face and say, "I'm gonna kick your what every single week."
I take the LSU job.
Oh, I would too. You guys ever been to LSU? That place is fun.
I've been there.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I'd rather
Florida.
I'd rather be in Florida for
I'm saying.
But I'm saying if you want a program where you can legit go win a national championship, go to LSU.
That just shows you how bad of a coach Brian Kelly is.
Oh yeah, he
sucks.
He's an awful human.
When he got hired and he walked down to the basketball court and completely changed his accent.
Oh my God!
You're a phony and a fraud, and that's exactly what he proved.
I have Ricky Ricardo cracking up, and I make my weekly segment with him on WIP last night. He goes, "You don't want Brian Kelly," and he's laughing. I said, "I just don't like him."
And my family, shut up, Brian.
I don't think anybody likes him. That doesn't. He's a good coach. He has been a good. I mean, he's had a lot of success.
He did a good job at Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans won't appreciate it, but
it's one of those things where the grass ain't always greener. I get he got paid, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, he thought he wanted to go win a national championship, and he didn't get it done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Marcus Freeman was on the doorstep last year with that same program he left and said he couldn't win with. Now I know they didn't win it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, they have some hurdles that other
absolutely. Obviously, with the educational stuff.
Yeah.
And, obviously Catholic. I get it. So, but still.
Yeah. So. But yeah, nobody likes Brian Kelly. But I'm not going to say he's a terrible football coach. He's just, I think he might be a terrible person. Although I don't know, people don't seem to like him.
I mean, if you look at that certain scandal in 2010, he might be a terrible person.
Yeah,
folks. Yesterday, how about this? Myles Garrett had 5 sacks yesterday,
and they lost.
And they lost big. They didn't
got killed.
Could he be out at the trade deadline? Could he demand to get out of there? No,
I don't think he wants to leave. That's the issue.
No.
Well, he got his money. I mean, that's a shame.
By the way, that you bring that up, first of all, no, he got a monster deal. He's I go back to Cam Jurgens training camp. I still don't know what this means, but I love it. He's like he's like a predator on ice skates on grass.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but it seems like a perfect encapsulation of Myles Garrett as a player. But I've seen it twice now where Alex Hunt had a big game yesterday. I think he had 9 pressures, according to Next Gen Stats.
Alex had a monster game. Probably should have 2 sacks too. He got one taken away from him.
Josh Uche's been doing a good job in his role. You're getting Nolan Smith back. You're getting Brandon Graham. I heard a couple people saying the Eagles don't need an edge rusher. Is that just they need fooled by the New York Giants? Are they being fooled by the New York Giants when they say that?
Whenever you need something to go right in life, you play the New York Giants. it's just the reality.
I'm with you. I'm not.
I like that. Yeah, I like that, Jeff. You need a little up.
Plus, they made him one-dimensional. That's when you look good as a pass rusher. You know what's coming,
right?
Yeah, and that's what Vic's been preaching. And look, we talked to Vic this week. Yeah, he give him credit for this week, but they need talent there. They need more talent. Brandon Graham will help, but they need significantly more. And I said this when I was watching Browns Patriots a little bit of that during the game yesterday. Myles Garrett had back-to-back plays where he had sacks. And I said, I know the Browns stink, but I think I learned more about the Patriots in a blowout win because they face an elite pass rusher. Because Max Crosby did this to them in week 1, by the way, and the Raiders ended up winning. They face an elite pass rusher. The Patriots will probably lose.
Well, I mean, you're right, but I think the Patriots are having a good year, man.
Oh, they're
where they are in their development, and Drake
they are going to win 12 games this year.
I mean,
they are.
They're 6-2, right?
Yeah, and their schedule's easy.
Why do you say they would lose if they faced a great pass rusher? They did yesterday, and they beat the.
Because there are some teams with great pass rushers that have pulses and can score with them. The Browns cannot.
But Mike Vrabel's he's a great
coach.
He's a great coach. He's a program changer. He is a really good coach.
I thought
Drake May's completing 75% of his passes right now.
I thought the Patriots won the all season. I may have said this on here. When they fired Gerard Mayo right after the season, I said, all right, that's the first great move I've seen them do in a long time. Because I saw it last year. I thought Drake May was going to be good.
Speaking of, by the way, speaking of horrible people, Josh McDaniels, horrible person by all indications.
He can call
horrible head coach, really good offensive coordinator. Really good offensive.
You get him back with Drake May. Patriots don't care. They know what he can do. He's only done it for him two different times.
Yeah. I like Drake May. He's a good player. That's going to be an interesting team coming up in the AFC. We'll see what ends up happening there. Jeff, it's been a lot of changing narratives around the Eagles the last couple of weeks. And I think part of that is football, where, we broadcast every day and the narratives just change around a team. But where do you think the truth is going into the bye week? What is your assessment of this team at large? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it's, Jalen is this and the coaches are this and Howie had an awful offseason. And here we are. Tank Bigsby looks good now. Josh Uche's getting to the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is in the MVP conversation. Saquon Barkley's in the top 10 of rushing again. Where's the truth lie with this team right now going into the bye week, Jeff?
Hey, Howie still had an awful offseason, but this team they're a Super Bowl contender. They are. They're 6-2. They're one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. I can say that.
What Tank Bigsby trade looks like the steal of the century now.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, okay. He ran for 100 yards off the Giants. I'm happy for him, by the way. I feel bad for Will Shipley. He kind of got cast off.
Well, he's a good kickoff returner.
Yeah,
he's getting him good field position.
They don't use him offensively.
No, they don't use him offensively. I agree. They don't. He should be the third down back. But what do I know? Yeah, he's a good receiver. All he did was catch 1,000 balls in training camp, and they don't throw him the ball.
No, DeCecco and I were talking about that yesterday. We're like, where are these wheel routes that they ran like 100 times in practice?
I don't know. I have no idea. They pull it out every once in a while. Remember when Saquon had the touchdown?
Saquon had one.
Yeah. And he said it wasn't even in the playbook. What do you mean a wheel route wasn't in the playbook? What did he say? That set people off.
Like, I asked him about like him being involved in the passing game, and he goes off on a tangent about that. I'm like, oh, thanks, Saquon. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? We've seen it multiple times with you. I don't know. Sometimes people just say something in an emotional moment, and fans latch onto it and treat it like gospel. It's like you've seen a wheel route multiple times. Not as much as you should.
Sometimes I think you get a better answer, a non-emotional answer. And I know like maybe players don't like it, but when you're in that scrum, sometimes you don't hear all the questions. But if you ask him it again, you might get a better answer the second time.
Yeah. Yeah. You might have, you're right. Because a lot of times, especially after games, you'll have guys with other players that walk up late and ask the same question, and you'll get two different answers. So yeah, nobody's under oath. People should realize that. And it's just, speaking extemporaneously, which can go off in different directions. But I
had one of your favorite moments in the scrums yesterday. It was with Saquon.
I thought you were going to tear your Achilles trying to get out of the scrum.
No, but it had something to do with camera people.
Oh, they're awful.
So like I was in position.
Brian Kelly. Josh, speaking of awful people, the camera people are the most awful people in the world.
So yesterday, I didn't know who it was, and I know most of the camera people. It wasn't anybody I knew, but I'm in position to. It was like me, Martin, John McGonagall, a couple people. We were like in great position for Saquon. All of a sudden, this camera guy, bigger than me, boxes me out. So I'm like just reaching my phone and just trying to get the audio at that. Then he gets mad because he wants to leave after 2 minutes, and I said, no, I'm not moving. You boxed me out. You're stuck there, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, they're bad people, man.
Yeah, and he got mad, and he's like, "Oh, now you move." I'm like, "Yeah, he's done talking."
We're talking inside baseball. They are bad people.
You guys are always ripping the camera guys. They must really stink.
They're just awful.
Well, they only ask questions.
They don't add anything. I've advocated we should, as a group, just stop asking questions and let these assholes. All right, you want to be an asshole? Go.
Yeah, but you guys obviously it's just something that's not going to go away. The TV.
No. For me, it's it's just simple. It's just me complaining. Like I'm trying to do a job. I'm trying to get a story here. He was a big focal point yesterday, and I'm getting boxed out. It is what it is.
That's your defense, bro. That's your defense. That's your NFL players go up against defense. Your guys' defense as a reporter. You got to get around the TV cameras, man.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of us like to stick together so we form our own collective wall.
Dirty Air in the chat says, respect the cameraman. That is spoken by a cameraman himself for NASCAR.
I do respect the cameraman. I do.
I do not, Dirty Air.
Keep out of the shot, he said. Keep out of the shot, folks.
Yeah. Your shot can go fuck itself. I don't give a shit about your shot.
Johnny Mac.
I do respect the cameraman if they tap me on the shoulder and like my head's in the way because they're trying to do a job too. Completely understandable. I'm also 5'6". I'm not big.
If you tap my shoulder, I'm going in your shot. Purposefully.
So you guys are battling. All right, Jeff, what'd you make of Kevin Patullo yesterday? I think he showed some progress.
He had a great game yesterday.
I understand the conversation about him is always when they're not good, it's on Patullo. When they're good, people give him credit. But I do think take that out. Take the external elements out for a second. I do think there is a learning curve, obviously, for him as a first-time play caller. I think, objectively speaking, he is showing growth in that area, learning a little bit more about his offense, what works, what doesn't, when to go to different things. I read a great tweet from the Honest NFL yesterday kind of talking about just learning how to play call in the NFL. It is a thing. Do you think Kevin Patullo has shown growth so far?
Yeah, I thought this was going to be the case early in the year. Look, he's a first-time play caller. They're still trying to figure things out. I know he's using kind of the same concepts, with Kellen Moore, and him and Kellen Moore were hand and foot last year, but you don't have Kellen this year. So you have to kind of work it out with your Scott Loeffler, your Parks Frazier, all those guys. And I felt it was going to take some time. I didn't think they would flip the switch this quickly. Like the Minnesota game, he adjusted on the fly. That wasn't the game plan. He saw the man coverage and said, you know what? We're going to these guys. And this week it was, okay, we're doing the six-man front on the offensive line. We're going to see if this works. You could tell the first play it was going to work. And they didn't spread the ball around a lot yesterday. Like, Jalen went to his guys. He went to Devonta Smith. He went to Dallas Goedert. When he did go to Jahan Dotson, it probably wasn't the greatest throw. I thought it was going to get picked.
No, yeah.
Jahan Dotson made a heck of a catch. I think he was even amazed he caught it. But look, when guys need to make plays on Sunday, they made plays. And I just thought it was sometimes KISS is the best motto. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's what they did on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, you brought up Kellen. Was Kellen that good last year? What are we talking about?
It was good at the end of the year.
I think Kellen was good situationally in moment. Like,
who were they better in the red zone last year? Like,
I would assume not, because the red zone.
Who's more creative in the red zone? Have you seen some of these Dallas Goedert touchdowns where we're like, well, where'd that come from?
I honestly think Patul's getting the most out of Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I think Jalen's trying to get him paid too, baby, because he's running up the touchdowns.
John, did you get my melodic quote from yesterday? I asked
Goddard. There's so many quotes.
It was great. He just says, well, you know how Jordan is. He drops the F bomb.
The F bomb.
He goes, oh yeah, we almost didn't pay him.
That was good.
That was great. I'm cracking up.
Can you believe that shit? Is what Jordan Mailata said. We almost didn't pay him. Can you believe that shit? Yeah. Well, they actually cut his pay, Jordan. Yeah. By the way, if you don't know that.
Dallas is plenty motivated.
The business of football, but the business of football is what it is. But yeah, sometimes it's good. Dallas is motivated to prove. And look at the season he's having.
He's tied for the league in touchdowns. That's everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
Him
How
and
about that?
St. Brown.
Season high, and we got 9 games to play. Yep, career high, not season high. Career high for Dallas Goedert already, and he's got 9 games to go.
His career high is what, 5? It was 5?
5 or 6.
Yeah,
it might have been 6.
He's on that pace where I think the record for most touchdowns by a tight end is 12 in Eagles history, and that happened in the 60s.
Well, Jalen, you can tell Jalen's liking going to Goddard, especially down in the red zone. Obviously,
they are very creative when they get to the red zone.
Yeah, they had those 2 pitch passes to him that they had a couple times.
A little more creative than they had been for all the creative people.
Johnny,
look at his touchdown to Jalen threw so many touchdowns. I forget now. I think it was to Goddard when Jordan said he thought he was running the ball, and he still thought he was running the ball. Next thing he knows, Dallas Goedert's got the ball.
That was a nice little tweak on that by the offensive coordinator. Although
I know Nick's gonna. I know Nick made the speech yesterday. Oh, we've been top 5 in the red zone the last 4 years.
Well, they have, but that's about the running game.
Yeah, but when they get to the red zone, he's got plays.
Yeah. Well, they certainly. I said Zander asked me yesterday on the postgame show. He asked me about, and I'm the same. I give the credit to players' execution, pin and pull game in the running game. Getting those double teams. Kevin's part of that. He's been more creative in the red zone. There's no doubt. There's no question about that. But that doesn't necessarily mean success. He's just drawn up some things that they haven't done before. He's definitely been more creative in the red zone. But it still comes down to execution. You can be as creative as you want, but if the players aren't blocking, you're not going to do anything. And that doesn't change from week to week. Sometimes one of those shitty games might have been better than this game, but people just judge results. I don't know why this can't be stipulated. It's obvious. You're judging results. They had a lot of success yesterday. So all of a sudden, Kevin, who was the most uncreative player in the world in week 3 and week 4, is now creative.
He should be fired after the Giants game.
But John, can you? I'm sure you. I mean, you can. Can you take the result out of it and just grade or judge like how good of a play caller somebody is by whether they put somebody in the best position to succeed? I mean, I agree with what you're saying. The results are more important, but isn't there a way you can view it of, okay, this guy is doing a good job or this guy is not doing as good of a job? I'm not saying it. Obviously, the result matters the most, but objectively, can't you? I mean, isn't there some semblance?
There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way anybody outside that building can judge play calling. There's no way. There's just no way. Can you judge preparation? Which, by the way, is far more important than play calling. Like I always say, especially in this era, where you can literally go on Google right now and get Bill Walsh playbooks, 100 different playbooks. So you can copy anything you want to copy. Can you teach it to the players? Can you execute it? Can you have it in that situation? That's far more. That's the stuff you can judge. Like, are they ready to execute? Are they ready to perform? Are they doing
and that's the
things
inexact
correctly?
science.
Yeah.
Out of all this, it's something that just covering 2 sports, it's completely.
I know, but the way you're saying it, and I'm not even saying I disagree.
Sean Desai runs the same fucking defense that Vic Fangio does.
I know.
What's the difference?
So what's the point of having a great play caller?
Well,
like if that's the way that you view it, why does anybody even have?
Well, you can call a great play if someone misses a block. It's a sack.
Well, I say it all the time. Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you
could have the best play in the world dialed up, and I've told this story. I've had this discussion with Doug Peterson. You can have the best play call ever dialed up, and nobody knows it because the left guard missed the block. Or you could have the worst play call for a certain situation, and you fucked everything up. And somebody goes and makes a play and makes you look good. It works both ways.
Or someone falls on the defense. Which happens a lot.
Yeah. Somebody blows a coverage. I'm just saying it's not. I'm saying I know that's how everybody views it, but I'm saying it's not possible. I can acknowledge, like, it's not possible for me to judge play callers. It is not possible. And I have more access than 90% of the people. I can't judge play calls. If I can't judge,
they can be good or bad, right?
Of course.
You're just saying based on the information we have, we have no ability.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Exactly. Of course. But again, some of the best play calls are in plays that don't work from a coaching perspective because of lack of execution, because of something else going wrong. And you say as a coach, and that's what Doug was trying to impart to me, you say as a coach, damn, I had him. But nobody will ever know it.
And they're never going to publicly admit it.
Yeah. And the same thing if when a player picks you up as a coach by making a play, like Jalen does it multiple times a game, where the defense may have gotten you. And he just extends the play and makes a play like he did in Minnesota 4 or 5 times. And everybody said, what an offensive game. It's fucking Jalen Hurts making plays. And A.J. Brown, which is off-schedule stuff. Now, you do have to teach the mechanics of a scramble play. You can't just all run to the same spot. There's rules you have to teach. And again, that's where teaching and execution comes into it. So there's a lot of shit that goes into it. But I'm just saying, anybody who thinks they can judge NFL play callers is blowing smoke up your ass. They don't know. How could they know?
Oh, I read Kurt Warner. I mean, is he blowing smoke up my ass?
Well, Kurt Warner's a quarterback. There's a little bit different. Tom's a quarterback. Quarterbacks know what's going on, so they're a little bit more.
They know what's going on week to week, even when they played.
I mean, they know the rules, they know what you're supposed to do, and they have a way better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not saying I have.
They have a way better understanding of what's going on. So yeah, they're a little bit different, especially the good ones. But you also have to be careful about, where are they? What are they trying to accomplish? You have certain guys who play the quarterback position that you'll see during the week, week 3, oh, this quarterback stinks. And week 7, this quarterback's the best thing since sliced bread. You kind of lose credibility with me when you go to that direction. So there's a part of this industry that unfortunately is about, creating eyeballs and saying things that get noticed. So you have to be careful. Specifically to Kurt and Tom, they're very good. They're very good. If you want to listen to anybody, listen to Tom Brady, number 1, and Kurt would probably be in the top 5.
Well, John, I think we're I don't disagree with you necessarily, but I think sometimes when you speak about this, you make it seem like, I don't know if it's your intention, that the play caller has zero to do with it. And I think people can't buy into that, because obviously it has.
Well, that's absurd. I mean, that's zero to do with it is absurd.
All right, well, I'm happy you say that.
I'm saying it's not the most important thing. Execution far more important. But yeah, it matters. I've never
when
said
Dallas
it doesn't
Goedert
matter.
runs a wrong route and Jalen throws a pick. That's
no. I get what you guys are saying when it comes to execution and stuff like that. I do understand.
Teaching and the teaching matters more,
right? Teaching.
Because as I said, how many people have copied Vic Fangio's defensive scheme? Do any of them look like Vic Fangio's defensive scheme?
No.
It's like the Xerox copy gets a little bit worse every time.
Like, it's like you said, John. Like Sean Desai runs the same scheme, but the players didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, same. Couldn't teach it. Couldn't teach the scheme. Also had some personnel deficiencies, especially in the slot, where he played like 7 different guys. But
yeah, he did. Yeah, remember Bradley Roby was his slot cornerback at one point.
I mean. Good. There's a bunch of different Bill Walsh guys. I mean, how big is the Bill Walsh tree? Are they all the same?
That's big. That's a big tree.
Anybody, like I said, anybody can go get the plays. Anybody. You as a fan, any fan out there can go buy books or get scheme and see the plays and see the diagrams. That's not going to help you. Can't impart the knowledge, teach it, make people understand
that's why we get upset of like and look, like when people are breaking down plays and stuff, it's okay to do that, but you're also not there. You don't know what's going on. So in a way, you're kind of lying.
Yeah, I get that. Guys, I got to ask both of you a question. Is the narrative, which seems to me like a bullshit narrative, is the narrative that Jalen Hurts can't or doesn't want to play under center, is that finally been put to bed, Jeff Kerr?
Where did that come from anyway?
Well, they never went under center. We
talked about it. They didn't use it a whole lot. Part of it was apparently the quarterback doesn't like to go under center. I don't know. I've heard a litany of all of the explanations, Jeff Kerr. Yesterday, he said at the podium, what was his quote? I enjoy being under center, I think he said.
John was there. He would know. I have more important things to do than listen to the cliches yesterday.
Oh, shout at Jalen Hurts.
Hey, no, he does his job on the
field. It's obvious where it comes from. They were a gun team for his entire time he was here, and they rarely go under center. When they do go under center, before the past couple of weeks, it was basically tush push or the occasional run and nothing else. So that's where it came from. I mean, it's not like it was even a narrative. So the narrative,
fans were right. The fans were onto something. The fans have been telling us for weeks, get under center, run more play action.
Well, come on. The fans say it because they think it's not hard. They think it's easy. They think, well, just line up. Anybody can take a snap. That's the fan.
No, that's bullshit.
Well, yeah. And you got guys who grow up. I try to explain this all the time. Grow up in an environment where they play their whole life in the gun or the pistol.
Yeah, that makes sense. Watch college football.
They play 7-on-7 like religiously. The gun is not a thing. The gun's a thing. Sorry, I'm getting under center's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing in 7-on-7 for the most part. Anyway, they grow up. You have a whole generation of quarterbacks that grow up not even doing it. And then the standpoint, and you brought up the Honest NFL. I'll give him credit as well. And he mentioned they still need to improve on the 3-5 step drops, the quick drops. The fucking footwork and the mechanics of doing that is like military regimental. Like you have to 3-step, 5-step, 7-step, back foot hits the ground, ball's got to come out. That takes years to master. You don't just show up and say, oh, 3-step. How difficult is that? It's like routes, receivers running routes. Like Nick Sirianni is so focused because he used to coach wide receivers. Like he gets legitimately pissed off. The first rule for any wide receiver is don't fool the quarterback. And that means be where you're supposed to be. And if you're running a certain thing, it's got to be 10 yards and you're cut and you got to be in this spot. It's very regimented, which I think people don't realize. Same thing with footwork and quarterbacks. And it takes a long time to master. And things are going well for the Eagles. I guarantee you this. If they're under center, because I see this with legitimate play action teams, and I'm talking Shanahan type teams, legitimate old school play action. And even this frustrates me watching those teams because they're the opposite. They have quarterbacks where are comfortable under center and comfortable with the play action looks. So even when it's 3rd and 15 and say it's a 3-point, 7-point game and they're bringing the house, these guys want to turn their back to the defense just to get the footwork right, just to make sure everything's structured to what they're used to. And here's the pass rush the minute they turn around. Drives me insane. It works both ways because they're not comfortable going in the gun when you want to be in the gun on 3rd and 15 and you want to see the defense and you want to see where Micah Parsons is breathing down your throat. And these guys are turning their back and the play's over.
Yeah, I get that part of it. But the narrative was that Jalen Hurts can't do it. I think that's been put to bed.
Well, the narrative is he can't do it because they didn't do it. Like that you can blame on the coaching staff if you want to, because they didn't allow him to do it. So the presumption was, well, he's not comfortable doing it. And now they're doing it, whether it's out of necessity and it's been successful. Similar to there was he couldn't handle the blitz. Now he can't not handle the blitz.
He has a
now it's zone.
Passer rating.
That's part of why people get pissed.
Why is he get pissed?
They get locked in these stupid narratives. Jalen doesn't like going under center, so let's never put him under. Bullshit.
People have unrealistic expectations when it comes to
it's the same thing.
Get better at it.
It's the same. You're criticizing people for the same thing that you got criticized. Like when you say Dak Prescott played well for 7 weeks and then he plays poorly and some Yahoo comes in, oh, you got that wrong. So they spend 4 years not putting this guy under center. And then they put him under center and he does pretty well. And some Yahoo comes around. Well, see, I told you they do it. It's not my fucking fault. Your favorite team didn't put him under center. And by the way, if you do it against Green Bay in a 3rd and 12 situation, which will happen on November 10th, get ready to be fucked.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hobby. You put him under center a little bit more, he's going to get more comfortable. He's going to get better at it over time.
Blame Nick Sirianni. There you can blame Nick Sirianni. And not Kevin Patullo. You can blame Kellen Moore and Brian Johnson and Shane Steichen because they didn't do it.
Yeah, I will.
Shane didn't do it.
If they go back and never putting him under
Jalen was runner-up for MVP. Why would you change something?
Well, that's true too.
Well, they've been really successful. I think that's.
I say this as a bowler. Like, if I'm throwing the ball well, should I change my hand position to get more rotation?
I think that's a good point. I mean, they've been so successful. There's been no need to, but I think it is fair to say that. All right, if they do have to go to that, or they do need to switch it up, or they do.
I think it's fair to say Jalen Hurts has proven he can do it, but it's also fair to say the people that said, assumed that he couldn't do it. Why are you blaming them? He didn't do it. They didn't let him do it.
Yeah.
I think we get too caught up in what insignificant people say.
Exactly.
You guys can't say that to me. I love both of you, but you guys love Jeff. You come on all the time, and I love it, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing you. This idiot on Twitter has been tweeted at me. I mean, it's part of it. It's part of it. I mean, we all do it.
It is part of it. It is part of it. I'm not saying it's not part of it, but I do think it's realistic to say that, look, they didn't put him under center. So I think it was a fair assessment for most of those people to say he's not comfortable under center. I mean, why else wouldn't they do it?
Three coordinate. I get it. I get that part of it.
And it's not only Jalen Hurts; it's a whole generation of quarterbacks. Who grow up.
Watch the league.
Yeah, who grow up in college football, which is a gun game.
Spread offense, 7-on-7.
Dude, it drives me crazy in college too. Even the passers in college, they don't line up under center.
Oh my God! If I hear, I'm like Gruden. If I hear one more snap count, I'm going to shoot myself in the head. I hate it. But that's how they play.
I got upset yesterday, Xander, to add to your point. I saw someone tweet, "Oh, the Eagles, they do this. Yeah, it takes them such a long time to get the playoff." Shut up.
Well,
you got 40 seconds. You're allowed to use 39 of them.
Yeah, I got a lot of love for all the people that listen and check in on social media. At the end of the day, they're the reason we're in the business. So I get it. I have a different perspective.
I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks who purposefully use the play clock to get as much information as possible. So when fans see the play clock going down, there's a lot of reasons things could have gone wrong. One of them is maybe the play call didn't come in fast enough. Most of the time with veteran quarterbacks, they are milking that clock on purpose. Now, when they get a delay game, it gets very frustrating, but they're doing it purposefully to get as much information as they can. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people don't realize.
It felt like the Packers had the play calls in early last night. I mean, Jordan Love was at the line of scrimmage surveying with 18 seconds on the play.
But all teams are not the same.
No, I know. I'm just saying one example last night was that they had time, and I think that helps, man. So, but I get what you're saying, John.
Well, LaFleur is an egomaniac, so it might be the exact opposite. They don't want the time because they don't need the time because they don't want the quarterback doing things at the line of scrimmage. Now, I don't know.
They don't want Jordan Love overthinking it.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't cover the Packers, so I don't know. I'm not trying to say that's what's going on. I have no idea. I didn't watch it that closely. I don't know how quickly they were getting up to the line of scrimmage. I'm just saying I do know a little bit about Matt LaFleur. He's kind of one of the things he and Rodgers banged heads were Rodgers wanted to do things at the line of scrimmage and milk all that time to see what was going on. It was part of why they clashed. So there's a lot of different reasons that could be. And one of them is, and I say all the time, I don't know about you, Jeff, but how I feel. If you're not trying to get a quarterback that can do things at the line of scrimmage, I don't want you as my coach, period. End of sentence.
Yeah, you've been consistent with that, no doubt. Good stuff, Jeff.
I said this with Jordan Love, too. My final point. I said this with Jordan Love, too, adding to John's point. Like, you hear he's a top 5 quarterback. I don't know why people say that.
I know. Who said
I said he is a game manager that can throw the ball deep. That's what
he's very gifted, but no, I haven't heard too many top
if
5.
the Eagles beat the Packers, I guarantee you Jordan Love will have a lot to do with it.
He'll have 2 picks if the Eagles win that game.
I was not impressed by the team the Packers beat last night. I'm impressed with the Packers, but I think Packers fans, especially Packers fans, like to blow some smoke up there. You know what? When it comes to
all fan bases. I will say this about Packers fans because I've been there a lot because I lived out in that area and I had to go there every year. They're lunatics as well with their team.
They are,
but they're
very
nice.
spoiled.
They're very spoiled. Very similar fan bases, but they're very nice. they're very polite.
You don't think I think Eagles fans are nicer than people give them credit for?
They're lunatics, but they're very polite lunatics. Now there's a different level.
I think I'm telling you, man, I think it's the online people. The online people are a different beast. I go out in public and people are the nicest people.
Oh, I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I go to people at the post office. The guy's like, well, what's going on in the passing game? Talk to me about it. All these regular it's the internet people who are like, you're up.
I agree with that.
All this bullshit. I mean,
anytime when I traveled a lot, anytime somebody would come up, they were all tremendously nice.
Yeah, nobody's coming up to you saying, "Oh, Johnny Mac, you're an asshole for this take," or blah blah. Yeah. And I think it's all.
Well, that's because in real life there's accountability. They don't know what Johnny Mac's going to do if you say that to him.
Right. All the fake accounts, and the fake names.
The bots. That's how I call them the bots. I saw people making fun of one of the media people the other night, and he said back, boy, that's rich. You're talking to me about accountability and what I look like, but you don't, your face is not showing on your profile.
Well, so. Jeff, anytime someone says that, they have nothing good to say. That's how.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got to tell you is that I don't take fans seriously if they have fake names. I just
like Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah.
Paulie Walnuts is his niece is in our chat, Kimberly Sirica.
Really?
Yeah, her uncle, Paulie Walnuts. Yep, related to.
But there's a lot of fake Paulie Walnuts now. I know. Like, where's the real one?
I talked to her. She's legit. She's here. She might be here right now. I'm not sure. Kimberly and Carmine, both of them, they're brother and sister. Yeah. Yep, their uncle is Paulie Walnuts. Pretty sick. Good stuff. All right, Jeff, your final thoughts, bro. Eagles beat the crap out of the Giants yesterday. Pieces restored. The Cowboys look like crap. Dak Prescott throws 2 picks. The Giants get beat their ass beat by the Eagles. Everything is looking good in the NFC East again, Jeff. Your final thoughts today on the show.
The Eagles are going to win the division. I'm going to say that right now.
That's news in itself. Over 2 decades, man.
Yeah.
Back to back.
I mean, the Commanders are probably going to get destroyed tonight by Kansas City.
I agree. Kansas City, I'm so depressed by that. I'm done with that team. But we can't be done with that team because the AFC stinks.
That team's going to be around for a while there, John.
I'm sorry to tell you, John. I don't think you're done with that team at all.
Ugh.
I love the Colts story this year, by the way, and I hope
I'm all Colts. I'm all Colts.
Yeah,
I'm all Colts up.
I just feel like they're going to be like that 14-win team. We're all going to love them and come to the divisional round of the playoffs.
I love Shane. I know nobody is going to believe in Daniel Jones until he does it in the playoffs, but that is a good football team, man. And Taylor
that team's more than Daniel Jones. They have a good offensive line.
Taylor might be the real MVP, but you're not going to get it.
He won't get it, and he might break the touchdown record.
Yeah. Same thing with Saquon last year. I mean, we all knew he wasn't going to get the MVP.
Yeah.
That their award, Taylor will get NFL Offensive Player of the Year. That's what he'll get. If he stays healthy the rest of the way.
Drake May's probably going to get an MVP right now. If I had to make a guess.
He's playing really good. And here, by the way, here's Kimberly. She is here. So I told you.
There we go.
So shout out to you, Kimberly. Good stuff. All right, Jeff. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you for doing it today. You always give us extended time. It's always good breaking down the Monday games with you, my friend.
Victory Monday.
I'll be here for the bye week too, Zander. I ain't got, just because the Eagles have
some people. By the way, a lot of people are taking vacations. Jeff and I, we got to work.
Do they? People take vacations.
Oh my God,
I haven't taken.
Oh yeah, like I don't know what that is during this time of year.
I already got turned down twice this week from normal people our normal guests because they're going on vacation.
I mean, Gil takes 4. I've never seen somebody vacation more than Gil. Mike Gil, I love you. God bless you. But holy
now,
moly.
Mike's not one of them yet. He might.
No, Mike's not one.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, John had to go up to me and make sure I'm like, come on, you know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, Jeff's a football honk. Jeff doesn't vacation during football season. Me and you both, Jeff. I'm with you, brother. All right, man. Good stuff, Jeff. We appreciate it, bro. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
Yep. See you guys.
See you, bud.
There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here on Birds 365. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS. Read all his work at cbssports.com. Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning. Don't forget to hit that like button. I think we should be getting to 250 likes today. So hit that like, John. We got plenty of super chats to go. Anything stick out from that Jeff Kerr conversation that you want to touch back on and extrapolate and talk more about?
No, I mean, just that, I want to emphasize if people think I don't think play calling is important, I think it's very important. I just think people don't have the ability to judge it.
Yeah. Right. Okay, that makes sense to me. I think that's good clarification there, John. Good stuff there. Let's go to some super chats from the great people of JAKIB Nation. Appreciate everybody being here today. Alexander dropped a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, one thing I noticed, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but after the touchdown to Dotson, they cut to Jalen actually talking to Dotson and smiling with him on the sidelines. I didn't see that once with AJ. I haven't seen that with AJ in 2 years, my friend. But you are right. They did show that on the broadcast. I know John won't care about that.
Yeah, I do not. I'm not watching broadcasts when I'm at the game. So, but yeah, I don't.
I freaking love when Tom Brady calls games.
It's awesome.
I know you're not. I know, John, you don't care as much about announcers. I don't know.
I love Tom specifically.
I think he is so good on the games. I mean, I learned.
I care about color people. I don't care about play-by-play guys.
Gotcha.
Except I love Kevin Harlan, but I know him personally. But I think he's one of the best ever. But color guys. When I'm watching games, a lot of times I don't even pay attention to I'm just watching the games. But yeah, when I listen to Tom, I think Olsen's great. I think Tony's great. Tony Romo. I think Tony Romo is one of the best ever. I think and Jeff is kind of
they cut Tony off. Is that what
they cut him? Yeah. Jeff said, yeah, that's true because he was telling too much.
Yeah,
and. Like Jordan Mailata to me last week, he was telling me too much. So Nick tried to shut it down. It turned out to be exactly 100% true. As far as the, trying to manufacture double teams on the offensive line. But yeah, those guys, Troy's great. Troy Aikman. A lot of good color people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, Colorado. I'm a play-by-play guy too. I've always loved it. I mean, part of me is because my dad loves it. My dad does play-by-play for some D3 college teams. He loves play-by-play. I love play-by-play. So it's always been a thing in my family to listen to the play-by-play. And I'm a hockey fan, John. I'll tell you this. Football fan.
Oh, well, hockey's hard, man.
Well, I'll tell you what. We had Doc Emmerich. And people used to chirp Doc.
Gene Hart, man. Gene Hart.
Yeah, well, a lot of great ones. But Doc Emmerich most recently, more like, in the last years with the Stanley Cup. They've lost him. The commentators on hockey are just so bad right now. And then you go.
That is really difficult.
On the Sixers. The Sixers commentator, Kate Scott. She is fucking awful. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be.
You're going to get sexist.
I don't care because that's not what it's about. It has nothing to do with her gender. She is.
I have not heard Kate very much because I got out of the cable business. I pulled the plug route, so I don't even get NBC Sports Philadelphia at this point because I don't watch. All I watch is Netflix, Amazon. I don't watch like regular.
Yeah,
then I have for NFL I have NFL Plus, so I can watch any game.
I'm going full Sixers this year, though, John. I'm bought in. We had our
there's enough games now.
I watched the game on Saturday. Great game on Saturday.
But yeah, I don't have time to watch every game, so
I know
that it probably I would change if I did. But the point is, I can't judge. I probably heard her 3 times, but I'm sure there's some people that do it because she is a woman. Those people are wrong.
That has nothing to do with it for me, and I hope it's not. I mean, I like to judge.
I don't know. I mean, I'm old. Like Neil Funk used to do the Sixers way back. Like he, to me, is legitimately great.
Mark Zumoff was awesome. I loved Mark.
Well, that's that's what Mark is a great dude. He's not Neil Funk. Like I think people judge to who they grew up listening to. Like a lot of people will. Harry Callis is obviously a legend, but a lot of people growing up in this era think, who does it now? I'm getting mixed up. Scott Graham? No,
Tom McCarthy. With
Tom McCarthy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom, but I don't watch much Phillies.
I get that. That's a little bit more, local.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. But even just in that, I mean, I think Joe Buck is a great. How about Joe Davis in baseball? I think he's amazing.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think Kevin Harlan's the best.
Well, Kevin Harlan's obviously a legend.
I think I'm trying to think. I'm not a Buck fan. Like, there's a lot of nepotism in that industry.
Yeah, but I think Joe does a good job.
Jack Buck was phenomenal. One of the best ever. Vin Scully, obviously one of the best ever. So if you go back to those guys, I like Davis. I like Tessitore. Those, I would say that. I would say Harlan, Davis, Tessitore. Those are my three favorite currently.
Yeah, that's good. Those are all.
But I don't watch that much. So there's a lot of guys that I don't even know that are probably good.
What about Mike Breen on basketball?
Yeah, Mike's good.
Yeah, Mike's
bang.
Good. I love the Mike Breen.
Obviously, Marv Albert is.
I maybe I was hard on Kate, but I'm watching the Sixers game, and it's the first game of the season. It's the first quarter. This kid we drafted third overall crosses somebody over and goes and slams it in their face. And Kate Scott says, "Bucket for VJ Edgecombe." I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't give me anything more than that for the rookie who just made a sick move? I mean, come on. But whatever. I digress. We're in a tangent on play callers. Let me get out of here. Let's go to Nick. Ravens 2-5, no Lamar, and still division favorites. Crazy. Are they still the favorite in that division?
I think so. Who's Pittsburgh is on top. They keep losing. They're only 4-3. They're going to win that division.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
The Ravens are.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. Now, if they would have lost yesterday, I would have changed that. But they won yesterday.
The Bengals, they needed to win that game yesterday. They dropped that game to the shitty Jets.
Yeah, and now he's coming back. By all indications. Yeah, they're going to win that division.
Maybe. They might be. JD says, appreciate y'all. We got that one. Thank you, JD. Vulnerable Vitality says, well, to your point, Jeff, why does AJ have the time to go through his social media like that? Chronically online fans do that, not the team captain, AJ. I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's this, but it goes far past Philadelphia, especially with Instagram. Again, I am not an Instagram expert. I don't go on Instagram. I don't know how it works. Stories, reels, I don't get it. I admit I'm old. I don't like it. I don't want it. But there's a thing in sports where you remove all your unhappy players, remove all their previous Instagram posts about their teams. I don't even know how you do that, how you would do that. But evidently it's easier than it would seem, because they do it quickly. And remember, a lot of these players also have help with their social media. That's another part of it. So there's social media experts who tell them what to do. But overall, yeah, I wish you would get off it. So that doesn't change.
Still weird behavior what he did, but didn't Brian Kelly kill a guy? Jeez.
What? I'm unaware of that.
The only story I know that really bothered me with Brian Kelly, and there might be more out there that I don't know, Vitality, but one of his players got brain cancer in 2023, and he was, disabled back. I can't blanking on the player's name. And there was an interview that he did with his father, and his father is just scolds him and says that the head coach of the team never once called my son. And he was on the team. He played. He wasn't like a bench guy. He played for LSU. I mean, that to me is just crazy. But
now I just looked it up, by the way. Yeah, I do remember the story now. So there was a videographer who got killed during practice at Notre Dame because they were practicing with high winds and the hydraulic lift collapsed, I guess. So, I mean, I can't blame Brian Kelly for that other than this is, I think that's harsh to say kill the guy. I don't know your, look, I've heard some bad stories about him as a person, but
I don't think he's a
I,
very
I'm not going to accuse him of murder.
No, me neither. But the story I was speaking of was Greg Brooks Jr., who had surgery to remove a brain a tumor on his brain cancer diagnosis. And his father, did an interview, and Brian Kelly would clap back at him. And I'm like, I think the dude's father would know if you reached out to him, Brian Kelly. But I'm sure some people out there will buy your stupid PR shtick. I'm not a Brian Kelly fan.
Yeah, I don't have any problem. But being around for a while, like football used to be much worse than it is today. There's like a whole new I used to treat players like shit. And I was on the field when Corey Stringer passed away, and I tell that story all the time. And people would make fun of him because he was overweight. Brandon Graham still, Brandon is one of his favorite, and it's a term of endearment when he calls you fat boy, and people call Brandon fat boy as well. But there's it's different than society thinks it is still in a lot of ways, whether you want to call it politically correct, whatever we want to call it. Football is still behind the times when it comes to that. Not nearly as bad as it once was, but boys will be boys still, as they say.
Yeah. No doubt. Brando Shreds. What's up, Brando? I apologize for saying Howie overpaid for Tank Bigsby last week. Obviously, NFL GMs know more than fans, except in Dallas. LOL. Well, they should. They're paid handsomely.
Well, yeah, they should. And they do. And yeah, well, to the point of Tank Bigsby, you can't judge something that quickly. Nor can you judge it as
everybody was on my ass, John, because when I did the reaction show to Tank, I was all jacked up. I'm like, we got a running back too, and everyone's like, this guy sucks, Zander. And now I'm looking like, hey, maybe Tank.
Well, and to that point, if I were you, I wouldn't spike the football yet either, because if he shows up in Green Bay and fumbles,
right back to the bench and back to obscurity.
Exactly. So it takes a little bit of time to judge these trades, and I know patience is not a virtue in the NFL. People want to make rash decisions from week to week, and that's why they change. And the same guy could be terrible in week 4 and great in week 8. It's the way it works.
Yep, no doubt. Brian Pump checks in. What's up, Pump? So you're telling me the jumbo package got the run game going after we inserted Fred? I wonder who was missing before. That MF for rocking number 89 with the fire emoji for Brian Pumper.
Yeah, saw Johnny at practice for the first time last week. Yeah, he's a big part of it. I mentioned that a million times. Ben Van Sumeren as well. I think, that was a big part of the Eagles' plan. You saw Darius Cooper yesterday. In fact, that's why he was there, to be the blocker in those 13 personnel looks. That was Johnny Wilson's role, and that's hard to replace, but not a sexy role. So, but yeah, he was a big part of the Eagles' plans. And now Darius Cooper's handling that role. Who's a big, different kind of big guy, very built, physical. But Johnny's always been a blocker. Darius was a big time playmaker.
Yeah,
at a lower level, so he's just sort of learning how to do it.
Darius drew a pretty spotty PI call.
That was not PI, but
no, that was not PI at all.
But that's why he was out there so much, because he was the blocker in 13, and that's Johnny Wilson's role.
Good stuff there, Pump. Appreciate it, man. Invictus Eagles.
Oh, by the way, if Pumper's here, where they
here.
Can we get it? Can we get an Edgecombe versus Ace Bailey?
Might be too early to spike that ball yet, but
too early. I do
like the way Edgecombe plays, man. He plays really. He's almost like he plays different than most modern players. I think that's how I describe it. He plays so physical and aggressive. I'm like, good, finally, somebody that fucking plays with some want to out there. Not like LaMelo Ball. I mean, as good as he is, the guy's like on one leg on Saturday, falling away, shooting a shot. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Who taught you to shoot that ball? But I don't know.
I love BJ, but it's very early this year.
It's very early.
I'm joking. I'm joking, Pumper. It's not serious, but
yeah, I think Pumper's gonna.
It's looking good. It's looking
good.
Like
BJ shooting tour dates way too early. All right, Pumper.
Yeah, obviously, but you know it's not looking good for you though, Pumper.
Here's Invictus. He says, Johnny Mack, could you judge Pete Carroll calling that pass that got picked to end the Super Bowl? That's play calling. I can judge that.
Oh, I love Invictus Eagle. Now I'm gonna bury you, Invictus Eagle.
We need your fault. We need a burial on the show.
Not
today.
your fault because you don't know, obviously. Pete Carroll's a defensive-minded head coach, defensive guy. Darrell Bevell called the play. Darrell Bevell was the offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll protected him as the head coach of the football team. By the way, I was at that Super Bowl, greatest Super Bowl ever. Sorry, Eagles fans. Most exciting Super Bowl ever. Didn't even call the play, and you think you can judge Pete Carroll for calling the play. Darrell Bevell called the play. So judge Darrell Bevell. So right off the bat, no offense, dude. Perfect example. Defensive head coach, offensive coordinator is calling the play. In fact, I wrote my column after that was about Pete Carroll being such a great leader, jumping on the shield for his offensive coordinator. And by the way, Russell Wilson made a mistake. Nothing wrong with the play call. If it's not there, toggle in a different direction. And they were a yard away from being two-time champions.
You got me excited on the burial. I was hoping you would get a little bit more animated with it, but you didn't.
Well,
you gave him.
The point is, I can judge that. The point is, he said,
"No, I know, I get it." You gave him the
judge
that. Relaxed, destroyed his argument.
I can judge that. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but you don't have the information to judge it. That's the point. That's a burial. You got wrong information.
There we go. Get a little animation.
Judge that.
Good stuff, Johnny Mac. Here's Pump again. We talking about a dude who got bailed out by Tank after a 20-yard sack when he had a Keeley touchdown. Keep it a buck. When we had a Keeley lockdown game.
I'm very interested again to the point of Brian Daboll, if you want to, and Mike Kafka. He didn't even throw the ball at Keeley Ring. I don't understand it.
You said that at halftime, and then I really started focusing in on it. It was weird.
They're throwing it at Quinion, and they're not throwing. By the way, Quinion he's got the jersey again. 6,
and he got not only did he get away with it, but they called it against the other guy.
I know. It's unbelievable.
That was a bad call, man. Keeley or Quinion is a handsy corner, which is fine. I mean, if you can get away with it, that's a fine.
If you can get away with it, it's fine. But man, I fear that it's going to show up at a big moment in a big situation because he is just way too obvious with that. And I get it because he's getting away with it. That's usually when they call it, when they see the jersey come out.
Yeah.
And he's just been getting away with it consistently. And I think that's going to bite them in the ass at some point. I'm sure the Eagles are working with him behind the scenes with that. But it's like, dude, you got to be a little bit more, Yeah.
You got to, especially when you get a little bit older. I mean, you're going to go against a veteran there. You're not going to get that call. Rashid says, I don't think Jalen Hurts is as limited as he's portrayed to be.
I like who's portraying him is like, I think there's such a wide disparity. I say it all the time about people in the industry, people out of the industry. I think people in the industry, and I'm talking about coaches, defensive coordinators, guys who have to play the guy, are pretty much, consider him to be a pain in the ass, basically. Because again, so many times you do everything right defensively, and he just makes a play.
Yeah.
And they think he's a pain in the ass to deal with. So I guess my constant talking point there is, like, if you're talking about talk radio, you're probably right. If you're talking about NFL people, I don't think you're right.
Fair enough. JD3, Zander is the old head at work who calls you soft for vacation and sick days. You got some. JD, you know what I used to do? I used to pick up all their shifts and make the extra money. I'm good with working. Brian Pump says, Keeley was sticky in coverage. Best cornerback out there yesterday. Have some damn respect. Coop and Q got beat yesterday. Holy moly. Pumper is now.
Okay. Pumper's going that
his
route.
flag on the Keeley Ringo Hill.
Well, I think he's going to get another chance. So, Green Bay, I think he's going to be the corner coming out again, because he did play well against the Giants, and that'll be a test. So we'll see. We'll see, because that'll be a test.
Yeah, that will be. Here's Ryan.
I like Cooper and Quignon as players better.
Yeah, I don't know, Pumper. I wouldn't go that far, my friend. I don't know about Keeley Ringo being better than those two guys. I mean, did you hear Tom Brady? John, you didn't listen to the broadcast. Obviously, you were at the game. Tom Brady he was raving over Cooper DeJean.
Oh my God, Cooper! Everybody raves. Cooper is. Devontae Smith was you see AJ and Cooper are like best friends. But boy, just a football player. That's how Devontae described him. I've been describing him like that.
That's how Tom Brady described him too.
Football. He does everything well. Mm-hmm. Everything.
I think Devontae said if you look up football player in the dictionary, picture of Cooper DeJean comes up.
He does everything well. It's unbelievable. Second round pick. Boy, people miss that boat.
No doubt. Got it. Jeffrey Lurie, man, because there's a little bit of credit on that one.
Yeah, he does.
He loved the Cooper DeJean. Yeah, he did.
He'll take it over.
I'm sure he will.
He'll add it to the list. He'll add it to the list of, it'll be 4 players he wanted.
Yeah, right. All the 4 best picks in Eagles history. Right in the list. Yeah. Says, member for 11 months. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Random thought. If A.J. Brown wants the Hall of Fame, what gets him there quicker? Potentially more Super Bowls and plus 10K yards in Philadelphia, or trade him to a high pass offense?
Well, I think he gets there under both scenarios, but judging by the way people vote, numbers are more important for everyone but quarterbacks. Like, you don't hear about this receiver. Like, in fact, all you hear about is good receivers don't win championships, like Randy Moss and
Randy Moss and all those guys.
Like when now Jerry Rice did both, obviously.
Yeah,
and when people talk about Jerry Rice, they talk about the numbers. They don't talk about they talk about the championships with Montana.
Is Jerry the best receiver ever in your eyes?
Yes. Jerry's 1, Randy's 2. Very similar to, not the most talented. Randy was more talented. Randy was more gifted, but Jerry was more consistent, and he won championships. That factors into it.
Yeah.
But he's Jerry Rice is still number 1. Yeah,
Jerry Rice is a boss, no doubt. Where do you have Megatron in that list? Top 5 or?
Yeah, he's top 5. He's just physical freak, but a lot of bad teams. He played on a lot of bad teams.
Yeah.
And again, no doubt about it. And he was even in a short career, because he retired early.
Yeah.
Everybody retired early in Detroit because they were so sick of the losing.
I know.
Some of the best players of all time.
But that's also kind of the point about people who missed the boat. Like, if AJ wants to go to the Hall of Fame, Megatron is you don't really have to be on a team success.
Except quarterback. You have to win.
Yeah, right. Quarterback, you got to win, no doubt. So good stuff. Ryan,
but by the way, I have to correct that. Sorry, because guys like Dan Marino, Warren Moon, they're Hall of Famers, but you got to be like stratosphere.
Yeah. They're different. You're right though. You should correct. You don't have to win, but it's
whereas guys like Eli Manning, like that's not. I don't want to get in the. That's not a Hall of Fame player, but he will be in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 championships.
I don't know, man. We've been having Jason Cole on, and Jason's like,
I don't care. Jason, I love Jason, but he's not a fucking Hall of Fame
no,
player.
that's what Jason's saying. He's like, it's not a lock. He gets in. You
got
good.
Jason.
You got new people. Well, he's just saying you got new people coming on the ballot every year.
Yeah, I think it'll take a while. I think it might take a long while, but he will eventually get in, has been my point. And I don't agree with that. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player, but I think eventually, because, and in his case, it's not only championships, but it's also surname. That's a part of it as well, because of his famous brother and father.
Yeah, obviously.
And the Manning name and what it's become. He's going to get in, but yeah, I'm happy Jason said that.
I don't know if Arch Manning will be, or young Arch at Texas.
No.
He doesn't look very good. For anybody that's a Texas fan in the chat, I'm sorry for you. That team does not look good. Good stuff.
I love the fact that Texas and Penn State were preseason 1 and 2.
I know, and both of them stink.
Yeah.
Ohio State is going to legitimately destroy Penn State next week. Good game for Alabama this week, too. They had a tough win versus South Carolina. Those SEC matchups. Johnny Mac, good show today, brother. Your final thoughts here on a Monday. Birds move to 6-2 as we head into the bye week.
Bye week 6-2. Everything's copacetic, and it's interesting with the bye week because in a lot of ways, if you go back to last year, because it was such a big story, they were coming in off an ugly performance in Tampa Bay and really wanted to change some things up. This time, they're probably not going to want to change things. I don't know if that's good or bad. We're going to see, though.
We'll see what ends up happening with it. John Bird's in a good spot here, though, going into the bye week. A lot of good narratives still around the team. We'll see what ends up happening. Last question real quick, John. Trade deadline is next Tuesday. I'm sure we'll talk about this at length for the next week and change, but after that game, you think there's any clear spot you think Howie might go in the trade deadline, or maybe nowhere at all?
I think edge is still the spot that we can get something done, but I don't think he'll be fooled by the performance yesterday. I think he knows there's not quite enough there, and I think he'll work to get something done. Doesn't mean he will get something done, but I think he will work to get something done.
Yeah, no doubt. Johnny Mac, good show, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, man?
All right, thanks all.
All right, thanks, Jim Mac. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen, the #1 Eagles beat reporter in town. Give him a follow on X at JF McMullen. Appreciate him for doing it today. Good show today. Appreciate Jeff Kerr coming on. Appreciate all the great people of JAKIB Nation. Birds are 6-2. Sitting pretty. 2 great games for Jalen Hurts back to back. All right, you love to see that. Run game gets going in a big way yesterday. I think this team is finding the rhythm that they need to find at just the right time. Part of me is like, I almost wish the bye week wasn't right now because they're coming off a 2, they're really finding rhythm here. But at the end of the day, you got to get healthy first. So the bye week is still good to have. I'm just saying, in a perfect world, I'm like, shit, they're humming right now. Now 14 days now, but it was 15 days from yesterday until their next game. It's 2 Mondays from now in Green Bay for Monday Night Football. All right. I think we beat the shit out of them. All right. I think we beat the shit out of them. I'm not really buying that Green Bay team. How are you guys? The only thing I'm saying about Green Bay is I just can't buy Jordan Love on a consistent basis. I just can't. I know he looks great sometimes. Second half yesterday, he looked great. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, he doesn't have what it takes, I don't think. But we'll see. Maybe he proves me wrong. And I'll tell you this. I think some of you are wrong about Micah Parsons, guys. I think some of you are wrong about Micah Parsons. That dude is a freaking machine out there. That dude, Michael Parsons, is, and I'm no Penn State honk, okay? I'm no Penn State honk. Micah Parsons is an absolute beast. I mean, you can't block the guy. You know why Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson used to say it? Can't block the guy. Big Mike, that is such a good comp. Does some Wentz things. He really does. Dirty Air says, Green Bay isn't it. They scheme dudes open well, but Love looks like shit if the guys aren't wide open. Yeah, I agree. You mean Lane Johnson's son? I don't know, Daz. Lane Johnson speaks pretty highly of Micah Parsons. Don't you think he'd have a better understanding than you or I? I mean, I'm just off the eye test. I'm like, Micah just wrecks offensive lines, dude. I mean, it reminded me last night reminded me of the Hutchinson game a week ago where he was just dismantling the Bucs O-line. I mean, Hutchinson was – anybody watch that Monday night game last week, the Lions and the Bucs? Aiden Hutchinson was fucking shredding that Buccaneer O-line. That's what it looks like when Micah Parsons plays. All right? Myles Garrett 5 sacks. It's a shame. You know, it's honestly a shame that his career. I think he's the best. I think he's the best defensive player of our time. Maybe you could maybe go back to 2000s or since the 21st century. I think personally, Myles Garrett is that good. But his career, I mean, it's never going to amount to anything in terms of success or in a big moment. You're never going to see him because he's hey, you're right, pump. You're right. He took the money. I mean, he chose to stay in Cleveland. But it's just a shame because I like football and I think he's a great player and I want to see him, in a big moment. But holy shit, can you guys imagine if that guy was on the Philadelphia Eagles? Aaron Donald, yeah, probably time to fly. Donald's probably a little better. All right. I think Donald and Garrett are 1A, 1B. I really do. I think they're 1A, 1B. I watch Myles Garrett, and I'm like, that dude is a fucking – sorry for my language. That guy is an effing beast, man. He is a beast. Anybody see that damage he did to the helmet yesterday? 5 sacks in the game. Boom. Yeah, different positions. It's tough to gauge. All right. Big Trag asked the tough question. Hey, Xander, you traded an AJ for Garrett? I don't want to go there, but would Cleveland even do that, bro? Why would Cleveland do that? $32 million wide receiver for Myles Garrett? I don't know about that. You might need you might need an AJ and a one. All right. You might need AJ and a one to get Garrett from them. Micah has 1 sack for – yeah, but Daz, you're comparing him to one of the best right tackles in football in the last decade. I mean, yeah, obviously great player. I mean, it's always the case. You have a great player, they're obviously not going to dominate as much versus another great player. That's part of what makes football fun to watch. Everybody else, nobody can deal with them. Man, let's see how happy AJ is in that bland-ass city. Catches passes from Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, that would be brutal for AJ. I think AJ's ideal world, he would go to probably New England. Underdog, I can only imagine. Watching Reggie White and Clyde Simmons play here was weekly Christmas. I can imagine. I can imagine that. All right. I can truly imagine that. Only imagine it. Born in 98, folks. I'm a young buck, as they say. Although sometimes I feel like I'm an old ass, but you guys always tell me I'm young as hell. Sometimes in my life, I'm like, I'm already fucking 27. You gotta be kidding me, man. I'm gonna be 30 before I know it. But it is what it is. All right. Isn't anybody of value? HKP 99. That's good. At least you're in the, you're not a 2000 or newer, baby. I'm sure we got some of them in here too. Jerome Brown was a beast. Sills would love to hear that. I demand a DNA test on Arch Manning. It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Nothing good. Brian, I refuse to subscribe to that doomer mindset. Brian, I hate this mindset. Nothing good happens after 33. Brian Fleming, fuck that. Every day I'm alive is a beautiful day to be alive, whether I'm 27 or 47. If I can open my earth and breathe the beautiful air on God's green earth, are you kidding me? It's a blessing to be alive. I love Roll Philly is now. Roll Philly will no longer mention AJ by name. It's now wide receiver 2. All right. Jersey Dude says, I'm almost 60, Xander. Prepare yourself. Well, what ways would you like me to prepare myself, Jersey Dude? Riding the bench. That was a great quote by you last night, and I gave you credit when you left the show. All right. Any day where you're 6 feet above is a good one. I'm with you, bro, dude. In my case, 5 feet 10 and a half or whatever it is, something like that. 5'10", 5'11". I don't know. I know I'm not 6 feet. People used to tell me women cared about that. My track record would tell you otherwise. I had fun in my 20s, but I was a piece of shit dumbass. I didn't go that route, Dirty Air. People always told me I got to go to bars more and drink more. I'm like, bro, that ain't what I want to do. I get it, but it's not what I want to do. All right. Bird season, looking forward to the trades about to be made before the deadline. We'll see. I don't know if they're going to get too many. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm curious to see. Big Trag says, just turned 39 yesterday. Big Trag, it's a great day to be alive, my friend. All right. When your check engine light and your body's blinking, you won't be saying that. Big Mike, I think I honestly will. But I understand it's different circumstances. But I feel like I'm just happy to be alive. But I get it. Some days are worse than others. But, I mean, shit. You got to feel everything. You can't just have good days in life. You're going to have good, bad, happy, sad, mad, angry. You know, there's going to be everything. You're going to feel every emotion. That's part of life. Brian Fleming just turned 40 and I'll pull a hamstring dropping a deuce during Zander time. Fleming, you are the youngest 40-year-old man I've ever met. All right. You're the Beef Fleming's in here, cracking jokes like he's 16. Sean says, I'm 56 and grateful for every breath. That's a great perspective, my friend. Tea time. I'm with you. How about it? All right. How about it? Roll Philly says, I think Howie will be fooled by yesterday's performance. Hunting's getting a lot of credit. I didn't think he was that good. His sack was a coverage one. Yeah, I mean, he's all right, Roll Philly. I think he's coming along. Roll Philly, here's the thing, though. We got to be fair about him. He was a third-round, kind of a developmental player. So I don't want to put unfair expectations because Howie failed to address the position. I think Jalen Hurts going to be a good player at some point in the future. I don't think he's ready to be as good as, people want him to be right now. I don't know if that's on him. All right. All right. So we'll see. Here's Underdog. I'm definitely a Scanner McKee guy, but salute to Jalen for his effort and playing his ass off. Underdog, I think you gave him proper due with that. I mean, that's one thing Jalen does. He works his ass off. He's an effort guy. He always leaves it all on the field. All right. And I as a fan, as somebody that watches the game and knows that the players are compensated the way they are and everything, I appreciate that. I do. All right. I do. Dimebag says, best old man advice I can give you, Z. Make sure you take care of your lower back. Well, Dimebag, does the way I'm sitting here, that I sit here for 14 effing hours a day, does that look like it's good for my lower back? I don't think so. I already had my fiance giving me a massage this weekend on my lower back because I was sore. That scares me, the lower back shit. All right. Here's TK Fresh. Zander, love you, bro, but life is not as good as you make it sound, brother. Well, teach his own, brother. I enjoy life, good, bad, indifferent. All right. I don't go into every day expecting everything to be sunshine and rainbows. All right. I don't. TK Fresh, if you choose to not enjoy life, so be it. You're entitled to do that. I'm going to enjoy it. All right. I'm going to enjoy it. You're a hip fly. I do. You sound like my woman. You need more steps. You need more steps. I'm like, honey, I average like 13,000 steps a day in the summer. In the season, I don't get as many steps. I'm working my ass off, man. I always loved that. Everybody wants what it takes to work your ass off, but then everybody wants all the other shit too. I got to work my ass off. That's life. All right? If you want what working gets you, man, you gotta work. You can't just have it all. 10K steps a day or more flexing. I admit I go way under that in the season. Summer, I was good, though. Summer, I averaged like 14K this year. In the summer months, I move. Step, though, count. Let's look at my average steps in the last month. We've been into the season for well over a month. 7,000 in the last month. Not great. Not great. Not great. Sigler, I try to get under 100 steps a day. Come on, man. Curtis says, what is the incentive to tell someone who is enjoying life that they shouldn't be? Weird behavior. Curtis, that is a good take. TK, sorry, but that was a shit take by you. All right. Sean, good take. I agree. That's not work, Z. It's a passion that pays. I disagree, Pietis, but I'm sure you can view it that way from your perspective. You don't sit in my shoes. How can I expect you to see it from my perspective? I appreciate your opinion. All right. All right, everybody. Good win yesterday, man. How are we feeling about the team? 6-2 going into the bye. I honestly feel good about this team, man. I think this team is, I think the team is finding rhythm. I think the team is finding, how to get the best out of themselves right now. I think the team is, I'll use a Nick Sirianni phrase, the flower is blooming a little bit. The run game's coming alive. Jalen's playing efficient football right now. The defense is making strides. Nakobe Dean is back out on the field. He's doing well. Maybe Pump is right. Maybe Keely Ringo is starting to play better football at cornerback too. I think the team is in a good spot right now, moving in. Now, they do have a gauntlet coming out. Niall, good point. Patullo seems to be finding his rhythm as a play caller a little bit better. So I think the team's in a good spot. I really do. All right. Intern says 41 years checking in. Outwork them all, but make sure you're doing it for the right reason. Well, I like to think I'm doing it for the right reason. It's certainly not for me. I mean, it is, but it's not. One intern, I think one of the ways that I feel fulfilled in life isn't by the external validation or money, or it's from the work. I feel satisfied when I go to bed at night and I'm like, I did everything possible I could. Even if I'm not successful, I did everything possible that I could do. And I think that's what gives me fulfillment. So I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it for the right reasons. Maybe I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. Does anybody really know? I don't know. I'm doing it for my future fiance and for my fiance and my future kids, God willing, and my family. I want them to live a great life. It ain't for me, bro. I want them to live a great life. A lot more than I want me to live a great life. All right. I'm impressed with Red Zone. I agree. All right. I agree. Red Zone's been great. Right on the bench says, still feel like we need one more piece, particularly on defense. I don't know if we need a DB or another depth edge piece. It feels like edge to me because they already made the move. I don't know. Maybe I'm John McMullenized on it. He doesn't think they're going to go to an edge or to a DB. So maybe, but yeah, it does feel like the edge still needs some help for sure. All right. It does still feel like that. The edge is a little thin. Zander, what are you talking about? Ringo, come on. Big Mike. I mean, are they picking on him, dude? Look, Big Mike, at the end of the day, let's have real expectations. Let's not expect Keely Ringo to be Quinyon Mitchell. Let's not expect Keely Ringo to be the second coming of Jalen Ramsey. All right. Keely Ringo right now is a fourth-round player who we have optimism or hope that can turn into a starting cornerback. He hasn't quite yet, but is he taking steps from where he was to get to where we want him to be? Big Mike, I would say he is. If you don't believe he is, you're entitled to that opinion, obviously. But I'm not going to attach an unfair expectation on Keely Ringo because as a fan, I want him to be fucking Darrelle Revis. He's not going to be that. I want him to become a competent corner for the football team. I think he's taken some steps to get closer to that. Is he a finished product? Absolutely not. Is he earned the right? Probably not even that yet. If they trade for somebody to replace him, I will not be surprised. But based on what I've seen right now, I think Ringo's done an okay job. I mean, I don't think I didn't come out of the game yesterday. Hey, Keely Ringo, get him off the field. I mean, could you get better? Absolutely. Big Mike, look across the league, man. Everybody can get better somewhere. If so be it, our corner two isn't what we expect. Honestly, Big Mike, I think we're in a pretty good spot. We got a great defensive line. We got great corner one. We got a great nickel corner. We got a lot of good on this team. You're not everybody's going to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowl. Big Mike, okay, I'll pray. That's good, Big Mike. From your lips to God's ears, Keely Ringo turns into a stud. Curtis says, Z, am I crazy or after that game should Toth play until King? You're not crazy at all, dude. You're not crazy even a little bit. Brett Toth looked good yesterday. All right. Brett Toth looked good yesterday, I thought. Jason A-Team says, Z, a lot of people don't watch the rest of the league. They only care about us. See, Jason, I get that that's common in fandom, but I've always been confused by it, to be honest with you. Like, if I'm going to be a sports fan, if I'm going to be a football fan, if I'm going to watch the Sixers, I can't just start watching the Sixers. That's why it's such a big commitment for me. I've been off the Sixers the last couple of years, and honestly, I was ripping Cade Scott today. I can legitimately point. When Mark Zumoff left, that is when my viewership of the Sixers drastically decreased. And I grew up as a huge Sixers fan. But I'm jumping back in the Sixers wave right now. I want to see these young guys develop. I think they're in a good spot with the backcourt. But, I can't just watch the Sixers, Jason. That doesn't mean I can just start watching. Okay, watch the Sixers when they play. I got to watch all the league. I got to watch the NBA. I got to look at who the best players are. I got to look at where the trades happen this season. Like, I'm diving into basketball again. I'm diving into basketball. That, to me, means a lot more than just watching the Sixers. I don't know. I've always been interested by that. But that's always kind of been the way I am, Jason. Like in any of my hobbies. I like cars. You guys know I like cars. I can't just get in my car and say, hey, I like this car. I like to learn about the car. I want to know what makes the car good. Why is the car fast? What makes the car go fast? What's the horsepower? What's the everything? I want to know everything about the car. I want to know everything about what makes the car good. I read the whole damn vet book that I bought. So I think, I don't know. I guess to each his own. I guess everybody has a different, perspective on it. But I've never been the kind of guy that only watches my team. I think that's a stupid way to do it. But I get it. The other thing I will admit, sports are time consuming, man. Shout out to my fiance. We were hanging out this weekend. Friday, I worked till about 8:30. I get off the show Friday. Watch the World Series. All right. I wanted to watch the World Series. I watched the World Series on Friday. Saturday, I wake up. I'm like, I got to watch College Game Day. I love listening to Saban. It's at Mizzou Vandy today. I want to watch College Game Day. I watch College Game Day. She wants to go do something. We go and do something between 12 and 3. I'm like, I got to get back. Bama plays at 3:30. So I get back for Bama. I watch Bama from 3:30 to 7:30. She's like, all right, you want to watch a movie? I'm like, the Sixers play tonight and the World Series is on. I can't watch a movie. I watch the Sixers and the World Series at night. I'm like, holy shit, sports are consuming. Sunday, you wake up, you work all day because you got the Eagles game. Sports are time consuming. I get it. I do get that part of it, where not everybody can watch as much sports as others. All right? It is what it is, man. Underdog says it would give Eagles fans more perspective if they watched other teams, and it's unbiased. I agree, Underdog. Underdog, sometimes Underdog, I enjoy watching other games more because you don't have any of those biased perspectives or preconceived notions, Like sometimes I like watching other teams more because I'm like, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't give a shit. I just want to watch good football. And I can objectively view and say, that guy's good. That's why you're watching Micah Parsons last night. Eagle fans love the shit on Micah Parsons. Anybody who watched that game last night objectively saw how much of a game wrecker Micah Parsons is. He's in the backfield every fucking play. Even if he doesn't show up on the sack sheet every time. Every freaking time last night, Aaron Rodgers had to move up, move over, move out. He was looking at Micah Parsons. All right? Fall is amazing, Underdog, for sports. It really is. So, Bobby Murphy. Watching sports is better than having to go shopping with a B word. Come on, Bobby. You're right, though. I'm not a shop type of guy. All right? I did get out, though, and get my Eagle hat. That's where I got my Eagle hat. In between that 12 to 3:30 window I told you about, that's when the Eagle hat was picked up. All right, that's when the Eagle hat was picked up. G. Santos says, wish I had a job consuming sports. I will say I'm blessed, G. Santos. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Long days. You got to work. I mean, I work 14 plus hours a day, every single day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Big Sills really's got it made. He shows up. He doesn't do any of the production. Talk sports for 4 hours. Dips. Gets a fat paycheck. Gotta love it. Those were Sills. He's earned it. Flex, me too, man. I love sports. Stress-free as long as it's not in the division. Well, I'll tell you what, watching the Cowboys yesterday was stress-free for most. That's for sure. All right. That's for sure. But, honey, get me a beer. It's for work. That's classic. I'm not a beer guy, Sig. I'm sure you know that by now. I'm not a big beer guy. Z, is it time for Carson to retire? Dimebag, it's kind of looking like that, dude. You know, kind of looking like that. I always have love for Carson based on what he did for the city and for this team. And, you know, he kind of got us into maybe this mode, or was the start of us getting into this golden era that we talk about with Philly. So he deserves a lot of credit. Underdog says women who love sports are the best. Well, it depends, Underdog, in my opinion. I love women who like sports to talk sports with them, but my fiance is not a sports watcher, and I am perfectly okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that. I do not need my fiance watching sports. I don't care at all. It's good, maybe. That I watch so much sports, I get off and I'm like, all right, good. I don't want to hear about sports anymore. It is what it is. I got a Cowboy. You got a Cowboys wife? That's a struggle. All right. Wild Bear, you don't suck. You're a legend. All right. Come on, Wild Bear. All right, good stuff. Love all you guys. I got to get out of here. We got some work to do, some things to post up. Plenty of good conversation we'll have on today. Johnny Mack is taking his victory lap. Johnny Mack just sent me a text. So is the guy who sent the super chat in here about the play call in the Seahawks Super Bowl? Is he in here? The Pete Carroll play call. Invictus. Johnny Mack had to take this guy to the cleaner. Well, Johnny Mack has now done his research and sent me this text. A link, Daryl Bevel. I wouldn't change Super Bowl play call. People think they know with the laugh emoji. Johnny Mack taking a victory lap on you, Invictus. Johnny Mack taking a victory lap on you, my friend. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. No doubt. All right, gang. Good show. Good show. Love all you guys. Let me make sure I got all my super chats. Here's Pumper. I gave Hurts a lot of kudos for his performance until he took that horrific 20-yard sack and threw a duck that Dotson stole from the DB. Sorry, Pumper, are you under the impression that every play is going to be perfect, though? That's what I don't get. Like, he's 15-20 with a 141 rating. He throws 4 touchdown passes. Are the only plays you saw in the game the 20-yard sack and the Dotson throw? That's right. How do you gauge football, Pumper? How do you watch any quarterback and there's no – is there any other quarterback in the league that you watch that you don't see any plays that are like that could have been better? Really? Is there any – Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, anybody? Is there anybody that you turn on and it's perfect every play? Like, what are you looking for? What expectation are you setting that is unachievable? That's what I don't get. That's an unachievable expectation to say, if you have one bad play, bad game. I don't know. I don't know. I can't subscribe to that. I'm sorry, dude. I can't subscribe to that. That in my eyes is not a good way to look at it. Here's B-Pump again. Vic needs to play more zone. Our secondary looked a lot better primarily in zone. I agree with that. Also, did Jihad get benched yesterday? If so, SMH. Nakobe Dean's better, dude, right now. Nakobe Dean is better. That's just the reality. Nakobe Dean is a better player for this defense right now, at least in my opinion. It looks like that. All right. Hurts played. There's Underdog. I mean, he's a Hurts critic. He's an honest fan, though. Hurts played an outstanding game. He absolutely did. 2 games in a row now for Hurts. Only 3 goodbyes so far today, Zay. Big Mike, get used to it. You know me. Sometimes I give 13, 14, 15 goodbyes. Sometimes I give 13, 14, 15 goodbyes. I think anybody who's a fan out there, if you're a fanboy or you're a hater, I think life is a lot better when you call a strike and a ball a ball. All right? You should try and all do that. It's a good way to view it. It's a good way to talk about sports. All right? Call a fastball, and a strike. All right? Or a strike and a ball. You know? I'm not interested in proving myself right. I'm interested in trying to analyze the game properly. Xander, what's the rest of the season win-loss predictions for you, Xander? Senor, that's tough. I haven't done that yet. But I know I had 13 wins prior to the season. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, they have a tough schedule. So, you know, there might be some losses. You got good teams coming up. You got Lions. I mean, even the Cowboys can be a sleeper team to play against because that offense is, you know, a little boom or bust. But when they're good, they really are good. Obviously, have the Lions, Packers. You know, the Bears have been a weird, sneaky team. They won 4 straight. Then they dropped the game yesterday to the Ravens. I don't know. They're a team that might be an interesting one to play against. You have the Bills. You have the Commanders twice. I don't think the Commanders are as good this year, as I told you guys all summer. Remember when everybody hated me all, oh, my God, you're rolling the cup. The Cowboys are going to finish second in the East. Watch. The Cowboys are going to finish second in the East, as I told you guys all fucking summer. And Jaden Daniels is going to take a step back. Looking like it. We'll see. Love all you guys. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.